Welcome to Chinese Novel Audiobook. Chapter 41, The Calamity of the Great Holy Body, the Supreme Killing Thought is Coming. That's right, the two ancient supreme physiques, the Holy Body and the Tyrant Body, came out at the same time. I have benefited a lot from watching you two fighting all the way. Huang Tian explained. He's right. In this life, I am the most ordinary and common one among billions of living beings. Without any bloodline or physique, he had an incredible luck bonus. Being able to achieve this step all depends on having strong vitality. He outlasted batch after batch of his contemporary competitors. It took a full 30,000 years to finally reach the quasi-emperor realm. This, super old, quasi-emperor is a very explosive existence in the past, present and future of the human world. 2 or 3 great emperors and ancient kings could have been outlasted to death. Especially after Huang Tian broke into the quasi-emperor realm. Even a living fossil like him felt that his old body could no longer hold on. If nothing unexpected happens, it will be difficult for him to reach the peak of the quasi-emperor realm in this life. But in the next few thousand years, he silently watched the battle between the holy body and the tyrant body. The two young supreme beings fought all the way from the first level of quasi-emperor to the 9th level, and finally both reached the state of great success. This level of life and death battle is extremely rare in ancient times. Huang Tian was secretly surprised to find that the speed of his cultivation in the quasi-emperor realm had obviously increased. Over thousands of years, he directly advanced from the first level of quasi-emperor to the 9th level. This speed of cultivation is also quite amazing. After hearing the explanation from the mysterious quasi-emperor Huang Tian, even someone as calm and composed as the great saint body had a slight twitch in the corners of his mouth. Damn, is this guy speaking human language? I have been hiding like this in secret. Watch him fight with Dacheng Tyrant from beginning to end. Until he killed the greatest enemy despite his seriously injured body. This guy just ran out alive and kicking, and even said, "I came to thank me." Why don't you jump out in the middle of the battle between the two supreme physiques and spar with them? In other words, the great saint body has a good temper. If it were the now dead great master, he would have slapped the old guy in front of him to death. Haha. Young man, your current condition is not very good. Even if we survive this battle, I'm afraid it will be hard to survive the next one. Huang Tian could easily see through the little thoughts in the great saint's heart and said softly. Don't bother with this. The holy host was silent. After a long while, he shook his head and spoke. What is to come will eventually come. Although he was seriously injured and extremely weak at this time, his energy and spirit were still there. He turned his head and looked towards a certain direction deep in the universe, his eyes burning again. The great saint body was well aware of the calamity that Huang Tian mentioned. Even before he fought against the great tyrant body, he had foreseen this scene. But the great holy body does not regret doing so. On the one hand, it's because this is a destined battle between old enemies. As a descendant of the holy body, he could neither evade nor hide from it. On the other hand, this great tyrant was too cruel. It advanced rapidly and caused endless killings throughout the universe. The great saint body will never allow such a murderous guy to achieve enlightenment, become an emperor, and rule the world. Otherwise, it would be a huge disaster for the entire human universe. Fortunately, he really did it. After a long battle and a near-death experience, he finally emerged victorious and killed this mortal enemy. Boom. At this moment, countless chaotic energies surged violently at the edge of the universe, and waves of murderous intent emerged. Heading straight for the area where the great holy body is located. Every murderous thought is so terrifying, enough to make all living beings tremble. This is the legendary ancient supreme beings taking action. Their goal was very clear, they wanted to kill this young great saint with supreme means. Swallow its red holy blood, refine its flesh and blood, replenish one's own lifespan, and add some new vitality to the old and withered supreme body. It's not just this living great holy body, there's also the great tyrant body that has died in battle. It is also within their range of attack. 1, 2, 3, 4. These ancient supreme beings really think highly of me. They actually sent out such a large formation. The boundless chaotic zone was surging even more violently. One after another, terrifying and boundless cracks continued to spread. When the Supreme Lord's murderous intent came out, the sky collapsed and the earth broke apart, and the entire universe and the human world trembled. Now there is more than one ancient supreme being taking action. Such a terrifying lineup, not to mention the severely injured and weak Great Saint body. Even if he was in his prime, being targeted by so many ancient supreme beings at the same time, he would be doomed to death. After all, not every holy body is as awesome as the holy body of Mars, dominating the world and having the rank of an emperor. He is not like Yi in later generations who went against the will of heaven and became an emperor with a holy body. This was unprecedented and suppressed all the ancient supreme beings so much that they could not even raise their heads. When the holy body is fully developed, it does have the combat power to challenge the ancient supreme beings. That was just a challenge. If a real fight breaks out, the holy body will be the one to fall in the end. Not to mention, he is now so seriously injured and in such a weak state. At this moment, the great saint body has probably already made up his mind to die. Even if he has to die in battle, he will make those so-called ancient supreme beings pay the price in blood. Rumble. In the boundless chaotic zone, vast and terrifying supreme killing thoughts enveloped one after another, with endless killing intent, shaking the world. Fortunately, this is the end of the universe, in a vast and boundless chaotic area. If it were placed in the human universe, I'm afraid the world would have been turned upside down, triggering endless killing and bloodshed. Perhaps this was also what the great saint body intended. Chi chi chi. At this time, the great saint body also took a deep breath, tempered the remaining saint body essence and blood in his body, and tried his best to activate his own combat power. Suddenly, this chaotic area was filled with vast red clouds, which surged across the sky with astonishing power. Even though we know we can't win, we still fight to the death. Hey, young man, you are still too reckless. Not far away, Huang Tian shook his head and sighed. In this situation, the great saint body would try every possible means to escape. Instead, he was still frantically refining the remaining life essence and blood, wanting to fight the last peak battle in his life. In Huang Tian's opinion, such an action was really stupid. No matter whether you can escape in the end, you have to try at least. If worst comes to worst, you can just head straight to Emperor Burial Star. Fight into the Supreme's lair and take away half or all of his life. Killing one will break even, killing two will make a huge profit. If we can get the maximum of 1 for 3, it would be a huge profit. I never imagined the great holy body in front of me. We know that those old immortals in the dark are about to come and take action. He is still standing here proudly, fighting head-on. He seems to be brave and heroic, but in fact he is brainless and a reckless man. When it comes to scheming and cheating, the holy body lineage has to look to Yi of later generations. Upon hearing this, the corners of Dacheng Saint's mouth twitched slightly. I almost spit out a breath of blood and haven't recovered yet. Damn it, the ancient supreme being is about to attack us. Why hasn't this old man left yet? He still had the mind to lecture me in front of me in the tone of an elder. The great saint body is completely speechless. Chapter 42. The holy body is about to fall, and finally a powerful attack is made. This mysterious old man is truly a rare gem. In the chaotic zone, the vast and unparalleled supreme killing intent surged and enveloped it. The vast universe and the wilderness are trembling. This is the legendary murderous intent of the ancient supreme level, extremely terrifying. And there is more than one, there are 4 or 5. In such a terrible and dangerous situation, even though he had attained the great saint body, he was extremely solemn and prepared for his last fight in life. But it just happened to be this little old man in front of me. Still chattering in his ears, nagging endlessly. Coming, just when the great saint body was about to scold and refute. Suddenly, there was chaos above the sky. A huge and ferocious claw tore through the sky and crushed it down. This was a move made by an ancient supreme being. A claw appeared across the endless void of the universe. The huge murderous intent swept in like a vast ocean. 6 paths of reincarnation fist. At this moment, even the great saint body felt an unprecedented crisis. With a loud shout, he displayed the supreme boxing technique passed down from the holy body lineage. Behind the great saint body, there are 6 blurry ancient universes constantly rotating. In an instant, the domineering fist of the great saint body collided with the claw of a supreme being. Boom! This was a blow that could destroy heaven and earth. The overwhelming destructive energy raged and turned into an endless vortex of destruction. Above the chaotic sky, the supreme claw was repelled by the domineering power of the 6 paths of reincarnation fist. But deep in this chaotic area. But there were also large amounts of scarlet holy blood splattered. The great saint body, despite its severely injured body, managed to withstand the attack from the Supreme Being. Although he managed to resist, he was also severely injured again and coughed up blood. The golden body of the Holy One, once known to be the strongest and indestructible, is now covered with cracks like porcelain. Humph, young man, your holy body has only just reached perfection. In this state, you actually want to fight me and others. You are very brave. I want to see how long you can hold on. A cold and merciless voice was heard from above the chaotic sky. It can be seen that the ancient Supreme Being who acted in secret had a very strong killing intent. But he was also extremely cautious and did not reveal a single trace of his true aura. Nor did he launch a fierce pursuit against the weak and seriously injured Great Saint Body. It was obvious that he was a little cautious. The Great Saint Body is an ancient top-level physique that was born since the ancient mythological era. Once it is fully mastered, it is said that it can challenge the ancient Supreme Beings. This kind of unparalleled combat power is not just exaggerated. Over the long years, the Supreme had actually made him bleed. As the ancient Supreme Beings, they lurked in the forbidden zone of life and even cut themselves with a sword. The condition is also not good. I hope to get rid of this young holy body at the lowest cost. Rumble. As soon as the words fell, another terrifying murderous intent broke out again in the chaotic zone. Another ancient Supreme Being has taken action. A huge red hand covered the sky and the sun, with great power. Wherever his huge hand reached, countless divine rules of the great Tao shattered and were completely refined into nothingness. Buzz. The great saint body hasn't even recovered from the mouthful of blood it spit out. He will have to fight against another ancient Supreme Being again. Puff. Although his fist was still as powerful as ever, it could easily destroy a sea of stars. But compared to the real ancient Supreme Being, there is still a big gap. The huge red hand rolled over and was blocked by him again. But his supremely powerful golden body completely shattered, and the red mist of blood and broken bones flew everywhere. The next moment, brilliant red light surged, and the great holy body reorganized its body again and returned to its original state. But it can be clearly felt that his unparalleled holy body origin has become much weaker again. Hey, young man, if you don't listen to the advice of the elderly, you will suffer the consequences. This is going to be fatal. In the chaotic zone, Huang Tian shook his head and sighed. Great holy body. At this moment, the great saint body's heart was also shocked. Why isn't this mysterious old man dead yet? The supreme murderous intent swept in, easily wiping out billions of lives. Ordinary quasi-emperor 9th-level creatures are nothing more than larger ants in the eyes of these supreme beings. A supreme killing intent and a powerful attack are enough to kill. Now, two ancient supreme beings have taken action. It was really unbelievable that the other party could still stand out alive and well. But at this time, the great holy body had no chance to speak. Because his current condition is so bad. Before that, he had fought with his arch-enemy, the Dacheng tyrant, for a long time. Each other's strongest bodies had been shattered dozens or hundreds of times, and their essence had already been severely damaged. Now it is bombarded one after another by the ancient supreme. If it were an ordinary great saint body, it would have been wiped out long ago. But the one in front of me is really extraordinary. They are both at the 9th level of the quasi-emperor realm, so it's a fair fight. He was able to kill his ultimate enemy with his own hands and become a tyrant. Although he also suffered unimaginable damage. But such amazing talent and unparalleled fighting power are absolutely unparalleled and have endless potential. If he is given enough time to grow. In the future, it may be possible to take a step further and achieve enlightenment in another way. He will even reach the pinnacle again, break through to the ultimate perfection of the holy body, and reach the end of the circuit-breaking level. This is also the supreme realm that the ancestor of the holy body and the holy body of Mars in later generations can reach. With this state, the holy body of Mars was revived with a wisp of divine consciousness, awakening the memories of the previous life and the supreme Tao fruit. A man broke into major life-forbidden areas alone and was given the title of the great emperor of human race by the ancient supreme beings, but no one dared to act rashly. This is the great perfection of the holy body, the arrangement at the end of the broken road. Huang Tian stood in the chaotic area with his white hair disheveled, his eyes flickering, and he shook his head. This young saint is too reckless. Until now, I haven't realized my fatal problem. Sure enough, what happened next was just as Huang Tian had expected. Those ancient supreme beings lurking in the dark are so cunning. They took turns to attack, constantly damaging the great saint body in disguised forms, consuming its little remaining life source. However, the great saint body was completely trapped in a desperate dead end. All you can do is grit your teeth and hold on. Whenever his strength weakens, he will be killed on the spot by the ancient supreme being. The advantages and disadvantages of the two are too obvious. It is a one-sided fight between the trapped beasts. When he saw the powerful golden body of the great holy body being shattered again by the supreme. After trying my best to reorganize and heal, Huang Tian knew that this great holy body was almost reaching its limit. If another supreme being strikes him, he will be finished completely. Rumble. The speed at which the ancient supreme beings attacked was definitely fast and ruthless. This was completely within Huang Tian's expectations. Hey, it looks like I, an old man, have to risk my life for this. Young man, this time the cause and effect between you and an old man like me has become a big one. Just when the great saint body was ready to die and was about to make a final blow with all his strength, he only felt a blur in front of his eyes. The figure of a white-haired old man stood in front of him. It's nothing for a few old men in the life-restricted area to just bully the young ones. How about we try it out? Chapter 43, Super Tough Guy, Tough Against the Ancient Supreme. In the chaotic zone, the vast murderous intent of the Supreme Being surged and was terrifying. At this moment, a sudden and faint voice echoed. The words were clearly audible, but the content of the words caused both sides of the battle to be stunned and silent. A few old immortals. Who the hell is so awesome? How dare you shout like this in front of the ancient Supreme Being? What's more, he is not only ignorant of the consequences but also challenges several people at the same time. Swish swish. At this moment, the old man Huang Tian has completely become the focus of attention of the human world and universe. No matter how powerful the existence is lurking in the sea of stars, or he is the supreme being in the major life-forbidden areas in the endlessly distant Beidou Burial Emperor star. All eyes were focused on him. A mere human being at the quasi-emperor level. How dare you, a lowly ant, shout like this in front of me? You are courting death. At the end of the universe, deep in the chaotic zone, several ancient supreme beings were filled with murderous intent. Although at this moment they also discovered that Huang Tian in front of them was a little different and weird. He was actually able to evade the divine perception in search of all the supreme beings silently. This is enough to show that the other party's means and strength are extraordinary. But so what? How powerful can this peak quasi-emperor of the human race be? His fighting power is as incredible as the young great saint body opposite. Wouldn't he still be crushed and rubbed by these supreme ones? The skinny-looking old man in front of him is like an ant or a bug, not worth mentioning. Boom. Another ancient supreme being took action, and came rushing forward with tremendous rage to kill. This slap was originally intended to end the great holy body. Now, Huang Tian took the initiative to move forward. The ancient supreme beings would not have the slightest hesitation. A peak quasi-emperor of the human race is also a superhuman-shaped tonic for them. How dare you, a mere ant, challenge the nine heavens true dragon? You must be killed. At this moment, more than one ancient supreme being is taking action in secret. Obviously, they all wanted to kill Huang Tian quickly and plunder his peak quasi-emperor life source and flesh and blood. Be careful. Not far behind him, the severely injured and extremely weak great saint body couldn't help but open his mouth and reminded. But at this moment he really didn't know how to address the old man Huang Tian. When it comes to calling him senior, he really can't bring himself to say it. If he called him something else, he wouldn't even know his name. This white-haired old man seemed to have appeared out of nowhere, mysterious, weird and hard to understand. Haha, don't worry, young man. Right now, it's just a few supreme killing thoughts. You can't do anything to me. You better watch out. To fight against the ancient supreme beings like these immortals, it is also necessary to combine strength and skills. Huang Tian stood in the chaotic zone, facing the murderous intent of the supreme. He still seemed very calm and even began to preach about the great holy body again. Great holy body. Come on, it seems like he was just being sentimental just now. The white-haired old man in front of him was the most bizarre and special person that the great saint had ever met since his debut. Even the ancient supreme beings in legends cannot compare with him. Rumble. At the same time, Huang Tian also took a deep breath. This old quasi-emperor body of his finally ushered in the most glorious and brilliant battle in this life. He lived for nearly 40,000 years. I don't know how many batches of geniuses died because of this. At this moment, he has also ascended to the 9th level of the Quasi-Emperor and is about to engage in a head-on battle with the Supreme. At this moment, the Quasi-Emperor blood in Huang Tian's body is also boiling, emitting an extremely bright light. Buzz. When his energy and spirit reached its peak, Huang Tian finally took action. An extremely powerful fist suddenly blasted out. This punch was extremely powerful and sharp, containing endless and terrifying power. It also contains an unparalleled domineering force that can dominate the world. This attack caused the vast chaotic area to completely explode. Great success, Tyrant Fist. Seeing this scene, the great saint body not far away couldn't help but exclaimed. That's right, the magical power Huang Tian is displaying now is none other than the Tyrant Fist passed down from his ancestors of the Tyrant body lineage. And the power is so amazing and terrifying. He is not weaker than the previously defeated Great Master. In terms of pure strength and application skills, it is even stronger. Rumble. The terrifying fist struck forward, with overwhelming domineering power and extreme sharpness. The terrifying giant claws of the two ancient supreme beings collided head-on with it, but were both blasted apart. What, you ant? At this time, the ancient supreme beings were also shocked and angry. They never expected that there would be this plain-looking, white-haired old man in front of them. He can actually unleash such terrifying combat power. That punch just now was really powerful and fierce. Even the claws of the ancient supreme being were shattered. Although that was only part of the form of the great Tao manifested by the ancient supreme being across the endless void. But it contains unparalleled supreme power. Even someone as strong as the previous great saint body was beaten to the point of losing his temper and bleeding continuously. On the other hand, this little white-haired old man is so vigorous. This contrast is so great that it is beyond the expectations of the ancient supreme beings. All over the universe and the starry sky, countless powerful beings who were watching the battle in secret were also stunned. Where the hell did this unparalleled god come from? Could it be that he is also a top genius with a special bloodline? In the chaotic zone, Huang Tian stood proudly. With a powerful punch, he directly repelled the supreme attack. It also made the ancient supreme beings in the dark feel shocked and angry, and they felt fearful. This white-haired old man was obviously a variable that was beyond their expectations. There is even a supreme being who is secretly deducing its origins. Unfortunately, nothing was gained in the end. Haha, the so-called supreme is nothing more than this. You old fools have been eliminated by time and are useless. Huang Tian, with white hair and fluttering robes, spoke again. His words also made the dark supreme masters grit their teeth and their murderous intent surged. That hateful old man who is Quasi-Emperor. Open your mouth and keep calling these ancient supreme beings by name, which really makes them angry. At this moment, in the minds of all the supreme beings, hunting down the great holy body is secondary. The most urgent and most important thing is to kill this damn human Quasi-Emperor in front of him. The ancient supreme being cannot be insulted. Anyone who dares to challenge their supreme majesty will be made to pay the most painful price in the world. Rumble. No need to say anything more, just keep working. This time, the 5 ancient supreme beings lurking in the chaotic zone all took action. Although they were furious and had endless murderous intent in their hearts. But he also realized that this mysterious and weird old man in front of him was definitely not ordinary. It looks like it is drained of vitality and is about to rot. But this terrifying explosive power is really fierce. When he used the domineering fist earlier, in a trance, everyone felt that Huang Tian's old bones were the true unparalleled master of the great tyrant body. At this time, Huang Tian was also sneering in his heart. He practiced hard for such a long time in this life. His Taoism and magical powers have long been tempered to the ultimate level. In terms of talent and bloodline, he cannot compare with the great saint bodies and great hegemonic bodies of the world. In terms of cultivation level, he is not even as good as these immortal ancient supreme beings. But he lived long enough. In the early stages of cultivation, it may not be a big deal. But once you successfully step into the Quasi-Emperor realm, especially after reaching the 9th level of the Quasi-Emperor realm, the meaning is completely different. The vast and endless quantitative change will eventually turn into a terrifying qualitative change. This punch contained the accumulation and sedimentation of his nearly 40,000 years of Taoism. At this point, the situation broke out in full swing and it was really a life and death situation. Just ask who can stop it. Chapter 44, the old quasi-emperor is wild and domineering. Facing the murderous intentions of the ancient supreme beings attacking at the same time, Huang Tian roared, his white hair dancing wildly. At this moment, his old quasi-emperor body was emitting a blazing light. So bright and dazzling. In a trance, he seemed to be going against the long river of time and regaining the best fighting power in his life. You are about to take the most crucial step. Incomparably powerful and terrifying. He once again launched a shocking attack. Rumble. The vast ocean of blood and energy shook, submerging the vast world. 6 ancient and blurry shadows of the universe appeared behind him. It has the same pulse as Huang Tian's peerless fist seal. The majestic and invincible fist print contains his invincible determination to move forward. 6 paths of samsara fist. After previously using the dominant fist to defeat the murderous intent of an ancient supreme being, at this moment, he once again displayed the unparalleled inherited combat skills of the holy body lineage. It is also a set of invincible boxing techniques that are engraved on the road to becoming an immortal. It was created by the ancestor of the holy body lineage during the ancient mythological period. This extremely powerful punch burst out in an all-out manner. The power is earth-shaking and unparalleled, even if you are in the chaotic area at the end of the wilderness. It also caused countless ancient star fields in the human universe to tremble violently, and billions of living beings were in panic. Boom boom boom. Such a domineering and powerful blow. Like a crushing force, he simultaneously attacked all the supreme-level killing offensives. Wherever it went, one after another, the giant claws of the supreme killing intent were all destroyed. The power of this 6 paths of reincarnation fist is too strong. It was beyond the expectations of the ancient supreme beings. A tiny human quasi-emperor creature. Looks like an ordinary mortal body. None of you expected this. This little white-haired old man burst out with his full strength, and his fighting power was so terrifying. Due to their carelessness, even they suffered a great loss. So strong. Not far away, the great saint body who was watching the battle also had a look of shock on his face. The 6 paths of reincarnation fist that Huang Tian just threw out. Compared with his most orthodox holy body bloodline, it is not weaker at all. Perhaps only my own great holy body, at its peak state, can be comparable to it. What made the great saint body confused was, who is this white-haired old man? It's clearly a mortal body. But why is it so terrifying and fierce? In just a few breaths. But he crushed the invisible murderous intentions of 5 ancient supreme beings one after another. Roar. Deep in the chaotic zone, Huang Tian fought against 5 people alone, with unparalleled strength. He repelled the murderous attacks of the 5 ancient supreme beings. He howled toward the sky, his white hair dancing wildly. At this moment, he really had the vicissitudes and domineering attitude of an old man with the passion of youth. It deeply shocked all living beings in the universe. Of course, in the depths of the more distant starry sky. On the ancient emperor burial star, in one of the 6 forbidden areas for life. It also conveyed the roars and shouts of the ancient supreme beings. Whoa, whoa, whoa. After the extreme strength and brilliance. In the chaotic area, Huang Tian staggered back several steps. His own invincible momentum and surging blood energy were also rapidly weakening. At this time, his face was pale and blood was oozing from the corners of his mouth. Alas, I am old and useless after all. It was only 2 hits. This old quasi-emperor body can no longer hold on. What a pity. Huang Tian shook his head and couldn't help but sigh. His mumbling to himself made the corners of the mouth of the great saint body behind him twitch a few times. With the 9th level of quasi-emperor realm, he successively faced head-on the murderous attacks of several ancient supreme beings. The extraordinary and powerful performance just now is enough to go down in history. Even with his great holy body, he was no more than this in his prime. But from what he said, this little old man was still not satisfied. Do you really want to defy the heavens and overthrow the ancient supreme being? No, the young man behind me is still thinking about something. Come here quickly, I want to make a deal with you. Just as Dacheng Shengti was complaining in his heart, a faint voice came to his ears. Immediately, he noticed a flash before his eyes, and an extremely red and brilliant multicolored divine light appeared. And it is accompanied by an extremely rich and surging aroma. Is this the legendary immortal phoenix medicine? The great saint body was truly shocked at this moment. In front of him, there was a dazzling immortal medicine that was completely red gold. Its shape is like a legendary supreme fairy phoenix, with billowing fairy flames surging and gushing out. It is filled with endless essence of magical medicine. Yes, this is an immortal medicine. Young man, swallow it quickly. In exchange, I will accept that great tyrant body without hesitation. Huang Tian nodded slightly. After saying this, he waved his hand without waiting for the great saint body to speak. He then took away the already cold body of the great master. This is a super good treasure. Although it is a human-shaped creature, it tastes very disgusting to eat. But at least we can take back the ancient Forbidden Land and serve as the new foundation of the Forbidden Land. A powerful tyrant who can challenge the ancient emperors serves as a slave in the ancient Forbidden Land. Just thinking about it makes me feel so impressive, so awesome. Huang Tian would naturally not waste such a rare treasure. Seeing this scene, the great saint body was dumbfounded. He tightly grasped the immortal phoenix medicine that the other party had stuffed into his hand. Just as he was about to swallow it, he suddenly thought of something and asked. Wait, senior, this immortality elixir is so precious and rare. If I swallow you, then you. Although it sounds unnatural to call you, senior. But Huang Tian's previous wild and fierce fighting performance. This also made the great saint body convinced. This old man Huang Tian. No matter his style of doing things or his ability of fighting. They are indeed worthy of the title of senior. Haha, don't worry, young man. In this life, I, an old man, have already reached this level. Even though I am old and frail, I will never die in such a sad way. It's just a plant of immortality medicine, nothing more than a small matter. Huang Tian smiled carefreely at the concerns about the great saint body. Then, under the other party's stunned expression, he was calm and composed, and took out another bright and blazing immortal medicine. This immortal elixir is shaped like a unicorn and shines brightly like blue agate. It's almost impossible to open your eyes. Phew. Without any nonsense, Huang Tian directly took out a plant of immortality medicine in no time. It was eaten cleanly just like eating cabbage. Hey, young man, what are you still standing there for? If you don't take this immortal phoenix medicine now, you won't have a chance later. Huang Tianpiao glanced at the great saint body who was still in a daze beside him, and said unhappily. Cough cough. Hearing this, the great saint body finally came back to his senses. He also knew that the situation was tense and dangerous. There was no time to ask more questions. In this situation, we want to restore our peak combat power in the shortest possible time. Only by swallowing this rare and unpredictable elixir of immortality like this mysterious old senior. Phew. After a few breaths, the great holy body was no longer vague. After a few big gulps, he quickly swallowed the immortal phoenix medicine. In an instant, both he and Huang Tian's bodies burst into extremely blazing light. It was the first time for both of them to swallow the elixir of immortality. The power of the miracle medicine that can be exerted is undoubtedly the greatest. In an instant, both of them were filled with blood and energy, as if they had experienced a rebirth. The great holy body has completely recovered to its heyday. Now he finally has the confidence and capital to challenge the ancient emperor. Chapter 45. With the great saint body, conquer the forbidden zone of life. On the other hand, Huang Tian's blood and energy recovered extremely quickly. But he still looks like a little old man with white hair. The elixir of immortality is considered to be against the will of heaven in this human world of Shrouding the Sky. It can allow a great emperor or ancient master to live a second life. But his old body as a quasi-emperor is so special. I have already lived for nearly 40,000 years. The so-called elixir of immortality, nirvana and rebirth, the rules of living a second life against all odds, are ineffective on him. The best we can do right now is to rely on the powerful medicinal power of this immortality elixir. It just allowed him to return to his peak combat power for a short period of time. But that's enough. Young man, now we have both recovered. Are you interested in joining me, an old man, to do something big? At this time, Huang Tian smiled, his eyes flashed with an inexplicable luster, and he said quietly. It was not until this moment that he finally spoke out his deepest plans. An ultimate antique like him who has lived for a long time. Having seen countless storms and waves, his heart has long been as strong as iron. Why did it jump out today? Why are you so enthusiastic and generous, helping this young holy saint without asking for anything in return? Do you really think he is a pure saint and a good guy? Huang Tian certainly has his own plans. What, a big deal. Senior, do you mean? Upon hearing this, the great saint body was stunned for a moment, then quickly reacted. A look of shock also appeared on his resolute and handsome face. This old senior's idea is so bold. Yes, just as you guessed. We don't have much time left now. Those immortal creatures in the restricted area will come again soon. Rather than the two of us sitting there waiting to die. It's better to take the initiative and attack first. Let's go straight to Emperor Burial Star and give those old immortals a good beating. Speaking of this, two blazing rays of light burst out from Huang Tian's seemingly turbid eyes. An ultimate prehistoric antique like him. He lived for nearly 40,000 years in one life, and could be called the longest-lived quasi-emperor in history. It's such a pity that it ended so sadly. Even if he is about to fall, he must first make a earth-shattering noise. The young great holy body in front of me. But it is an excellent super combat force. It would be a waste if we don't use it properly. A herb of immortality in exchange for a powerful body. Add to that the unrivaled combat power of a fully accomplished holy body in its prime. This wave of transactions has not been a loss for Huang Tian. Anyway, in his ancient forbidden land, all kinds of immortality medicine seeds and essences have already gathered. Senior, although both you and I are strong in combat. But to break into the legendary life-restricted area is a bit too much of a stretch. The great saint body hesitated for a moment and then spoke. He said this not because he was afraid of death. What's even more frightening is that after entering the forbidden zone of life, not only did we fail. Instead, it will anger the ancient supreme beings in the major life-forbidden zones. What if all the ancient supreme beings were to revive together and start a dark turmoil in the human world of this universe? That is the worst and most terrible thing. The great saint has the world in his heart, so naturally he doesn't want to do such evil things. Young man, don't worry so much. Don't worry, I'm here with you, old man. Even though you and I failed to break into the life-restricted area this time. Those old guys in the restricted area don't even think about making any big waves. Although the ancient supreme being could rule the 9 heavens and 10 earths and kill billions of lives. But it's not absolutely invincible. There are still some things or forces in this world that can check and balance them. Huang Tian shook his head and said indifferently. With his cultivation and background, the young great saint could think of it. Huang Tian could naturally think of it and had a way to deal with it. Hearing this, the eyes of the great saint body flickered, and his heart was secretly shaken. The longer he was in contact with Huang Tian, the mysterious old senior, the more he felt the other party was unfathomable. Not to mention the powerful and wild posture that had previously struck down the murderous intent of all the ancient supreme beings. Just because Huang Tian disagreed with something, he took out 2 legendary immortality medicines. Who can endure this? The elixir of immortality has always been extremely rare. It was extremely difficult for the ancient supreme beings and emperors of the human race to obtain one. The old senior in front of me could easily take out 2 plants. Look at this incredibly skilled and nonchalant gesture. If you don't know, you would really think that these immortality medicines were all planted by him. Well, now this old senior still feels it's not fun enough. The decision was made in no time. Pulling his great saintly body to break through several life-forbidden areas, to kill the supreme. Such a wild and fierce style of behavior. No matter how you look at it, it doesn't seem like something a quasi-emperor level human being would do. Young man, don't take things too simply. Don't mess with those old guys in the life-restricted area. Won't they come looking for you? Every ancient supreme being is a disaster to the human world. If we can get rid of one as soon as possible, it's a good deal. You are the holy body of this world, so you should set a good example for future generations. Looking at the great holy body who was still in deep thought. Huang Tian's eyes flickered as he continued to instigate. Senior, since you have said so much, then everything will be done as you wish. The great holy body was silent for a moment, but finally agreed. He is the invincible holy body in the world. If nothing unexpected happens, there is a high probability that we can go further in the future and achieve enlightenment in another way. But today, he already owed Huang Tian 2 huge favors in a row. He also couldn't refuse this battle. Okay, in this life, you and I will join forces to conquer the forbidden zone of life. We don't ask for eternity, but we ask for brilliance. Huang Tian stroked his white beard and laughed. A brilliant light flashed, and the figures of the two most powerful men disappeared in an instant. Rumble. At this time, the ancient star Beidou had already fallen into unprecedented terror. In the northern region of the eastern wasteland, in the 6 forbidden areas of life, the legendary ancient supreme beings have revived one after another. The vast and unparalleled supreme aura not only gushed out of the life-forbidden zone. Billions of countless creatures in the 5 regions of Beidou are trembling. All the major ancient top-level Taoist sects were even more worried, and they all had a terrifying feeling that a disaster was about to happen. And on the top of the sacred mountain in the western desert, infinite Buddha's light surged as the great Buddha Amitabha sat in meditation in the depths of the temple. There is also the terrifying imperial weapon, the demon-subduing pestle, which has revived. It emitted brilliant Buddhist light, covering the vast and boundless western desert. The imperial soldiers personally refined by the Buddhist emperor were also preparing for a formidable enemy and were on active defense. A lowly human quasi-emperor bug. A saintly body that has just reached the 9th level of the quasi-emperor realm and has achieved initial success. Just these 2 guys dare to challenge us. You really don't know how to live or die. Today, this emperor must completely kill him. A cold voice filled with rage and murderous intent was heard from within the immortal mountain. One dark mountain after another was shaking violently. There is also the murderous aura of the ancient supreme being wreaking havoc. When the Supreme is angry, the sky collapses and the earth breaks apart. Today, after being silent for a long time, the forbidden zone of life is about to erupt with shocking waves again. In addition to the Immortal Mountain, there are also life-restricted areas such as the Taichu Ancient Mine, the Immortal Mausoleum, and the Sea of Samsara. There were terrifying waves spreading everywhere. Obviously, today's events will not end well. There is more than one ancient supreme being who wants to be born and rule the entire human world and universe again. And just when all the living creatures on the ancient Beidou star were extremely terrified. In the depths of the universe, there were 2 powerful and boundless auras that suddenly swept down. At the same time, it was accompanied by a cold and arrogant laugh. Ha ha ha, you old guys in the restricted area don't have to come out in person. Today, I have come here on my own initiative. Subscribe to Chinese Novel Audiobook YouTube channel. Chapter 46 Charge into the Immortal Mountain with domineering force and fight against the Stone Emperor again. As soon as he finished speaking, a golden road emerged from the depths of the universe. It crosses countless star fields and heads straight for the Beidou Emperor burial star. In this life, the old man Huang Tian returned to the ancient star Beidou with his great saint weight. Ever since he set foot on the ancient starry road. Nearly 40,000 years have passed. Today he finally returned. At this moment, he stood at the peak of the 9th level of the quasi-emperor realm. The final step will be taken at any time. Boom boom boom. These 2 great men have come this time. The golden avenue runs across the universe and the star field. There was no hiding of their aura at all. All over the starry sky, the ancient Big Dipper was in complete excitement. A human quasi-emperor returned along the ancient starry road and descended upon Beidou. Beside him is a legendary holy body. Listen to the meaning of this master's words. He is really preparing to conquer the forbidden zone of life and fight against the ancient supreme being. Oh my god, that's the strongest quasi-emperor of my human race. Is he going to attain enlightenment too? In all regions of Beidou, countless creatures were horrified and showed incredible expressions. This old man Huang Tian is too wild and strong. Before this, in the chaotic zone at the edge of the universe, he had fought off the murderous intent of several supreme beings. That devastating battle, it also resonates with the laws of the Tao and is reflected throughout the starry sky. Now all living beings know it. In this life, an extremely powerful man was born in the human race. Standing on the 9th level of the quasi-emperor realm, he actually possessed the incredible combat power that was enough to briefly challenge the ancient supreme beings. And beside him, there was a legendary holy body. Its fighting power is also unmatched and its divine power is overwhelming. Damn it! How dare those 2 guys do this? How dare you challenge us so brazenly? On the ancient star Beidou, roars were heard from various life-forbidden areas. Seeing the old man Huang Tian leading his great holy body to Beidou, the ancient supreme beings felt so uncomfortable and angry. Over the long years, no matter how stunning and invincible the peerless creatures were, even if it is comparable to the great saint body, or the great tyrant body. Even the most powerful person who has attained another level of enlightenment. As long as you haven't really grown up. Once they encounter these ancient supreme beings, they will be hunted. Every one of them fled in panic, trying their best to conceal their own energy and practice in seclusion. Such as those who later attained enlightenment, supreme beings. Who hasn't endured such hardships? But look at the little old man Huang Tian and the young man who has achieved the holy body. Today's actions are so alternative and strange. He barely escaped the murderous intentions of the supreme beings. Instead of thinking about running away as quickly as possible, he escaped into endless chaos and lay dormant. He is so bold that he goes straight to the lair of the supreme ones. These two young juniors really have no moral principles of martial arts. Of course, what makes the supreme beings even more fearful and uneasy is the current state of Huang Tian and the great saint body. The surging blood and energy shook the heaven and the earth, with astonishing power. This clearly shows that it has returned to its heyday. Damn it, I can sense it, that's the aura of the immortal medicine from my forbidden zone. These two bastards have both swallowed the immortality elixir and are back to their peak form. A shocking roar erupted from the Taichu ancient mine. The ancient supreme being was really about to go berserk, and a tremendous murderous intent swept out. Immortality elixir. That is one of the peerless treasures in their life forbidden zone. Unfortunately, after experiencing several unimaginable storms long ago, their major forbidden areas suffered severe damage and a large number of magical medicines were looted. It can be said to be a heavy loss. For the life forbidden zone, it was definitely a dark time that was too painful to look back on. Now these two younger generations have come in a strong way. In a trance, some sad past events that the ancient supreme beings were most reluctant to recall were brought back to mind. And the scene at this moment is so similar to that of the past. He is also a creature at the 9th level of the quasi-emperor realm. He broke into the forbidden zone of life and challenged the ancient supreme being. And in this life, there is also a young and terrifying great saint beside him. Rumble. The golden road spans across the world and powerfully descends upon Beidou. Under the watchful eyes of the crowd, the little old man Huang Tian, leading his great saint body, headed straight for the immortal mountain. The huge black mountain is majestic and towering, stretching across the country, still as terrifying as ever. A terrifying and trembling invisible pressure emanated from every part of the majestic mountain. This is an extremely terrifying place full of living creatures. Today, deep in this notorious life forbidden zone, there is also an endless and majestic supreme killing intent spreading. You old immortal stone emperor, come out and fight. Huang Tian's domineering roar shook the immortal mountain and caused countless dark mountains to rumble and tremble. Stone Emperor. Damn, this mysterious and unique quasi-emperor creature. As soon as he arrived at the ancient star Beidou, the first expedition he made was to the immortal mountain, and the one who challenged him was the Stone Emperor. When these words were spoken, the ancient supreme beings were shocked. The Stone Emperor in the depths of the immortal mountain was completely furious. Damn it, who on earth did this innate Holy Spirit Emperor offend? At the end of the ancient times, after the old Saint Emperor Zhutian passed away, his immortal mountain lineage had once encountered an attack by a mysterious and terrifying quasi-emperor creature. Even he, the Supreme Holy Spirit, was shed blood in the sky, his royal body was broken, and he almost died. After a long time, another quasi-emperor 9th level being of unknown depth and unknown nature has arrived. Not only naming names, but also wanting to fight with this emperor. Ant, you are looking for death. At the end of the depths of the immortal mountain, a terrifying supreme aura is reviving. The Stone Emperor, an emperor who had attained enlightenment through the innate Holy Spirit, was angry. He wants to revive in this life, sublimely and kill the two younger generation challengers. Plunder all their fortune and the essence of the quasi-emperor. Ha ha ha, do you think a shabby old stone like you can still muster supreme combat power? Huang Tian's head of white hair was dancing wildly, and his body looked thin and dry, so fragile that he seemed weak. But at this moment, he was really wild. He transformed into a human-shaped lightning and rushed straight into the depths of the immortal mountain without saying a word. There was no preparation at all for the Stone Emperor in the penalty area to come out forcefully. Senior, you. Even the great saint next to him was stunned by this scene. Could it be that this old senior has some kind of deep hatred with an ancient supreme being from the immortal mountain? Look at his familiarity and decisiveness. It's really shocking and speechless. From ancient times to the present, endless years have flowed. The ancient supreme being was already the ceiling of this human universe and the strongest realm of combat power. Billions of living beings can only feel fear, awe, and worship it. This is true even for creatures at the peak of the quasi-emperor realm. But Huang Tian in this life is an extremely different existence. Before he even truly achieved enlightenment, he was already sharpening his sword, ready to take on the supreme being. Moreover, without saying a word, he went straight to the depths of the supreme Forbidden Zone's lair and killed them. Young man, you will guard outside the Immortal Mountain for me. If any other ancient supreme beings come to kill us, stop them. Huang Tian's voice was heard across the sky, rumbling loudly. Damn ant, how dare you! Deep in the Immortal Mountain, the Stone Emperor's roar shook the earth. But soon his words were completely interrupted. The old man Huang Tian blocked him directly. Pick the soft persimmons. Huang Tian was very clear about this. Long ago, there was a shocking battle in the Forbidden Zone that shocked the world. He personally smashed the old Stone Emperor, into pieces. How could he not know the other party's true condition? At this moment, revenge should be taken, and grievances should be repaid. Let's get rid of this old stone first. Chapter 47, The Stone Emperor is in trouble because of his shrewdness. A shocking battle broke out in the deepest part of the Immortal Mountain. The endless dark mountains were rumbling and shaking, constantly breaking apart. There were also countless blood rains and lightning flashes falling from the sky above the Immortal Mountain. This scene happened too fast. The ancient supreme beings in other life forbidden zones were unable to react. It was not until this moment that they realized it. Deep in the Immortal Mountain, the old man Huang Tian has been fighting a bloody battle with the Stone Emperor. What should they do now? Should we just take strong action and go to Immortal Mountain to surround and kill those two daring guys? It's better to wait and see, waiting for the shocking battle at Immortal Mountain to come to an end. Are these Forbidden Zone Supreme Masters going to pick up bargains when they revive again? This is a question that is worth further exploration. The ancient Supreme Beings all lived for a long time. Each one is more cunning and sly than the other. Let them revive one by one, step out of the restricted area and rescue the Stone Emperor. They are not that noble and righteous. If the Stone Emperor is seriously injured, his condition will be very bad. They will even take the initiative to kill them and plunder the remaining royal life essence from them. I have to say, this old man Huang Tian is a very bad guy. I have already figured out the thoughts of all the ancient supreme beings. At this time, the Immortal Mountain had experienced the end of the ancient times. After his earth-shattering battle, the restricted area's strength had already been greatly damaged. Add to that the two bastards Tianxi and Buc who appeared in the later period and continued to mess things up. Immortal Mountain makes matters worse. Can you imagine that in such a huge life-restricted area, there is not even a single immortality medicine left? Various kinds of immortal treasures that the ancient supreme beings relied on for survival. Most of it was looted. In this life, the only person who is still holding on is the shabby old Stone Emperor. In this restricted area, there are only two other ancient supreme beings left. But their condition is not much better than that of the half-disabled Stone Emperor. His lifespan is almost exhausted, and even his supreme combat power that has been sublimated to the extreme can hardly be exerted. Otherwise, why would Huang Tian choose them as the first target of conquest? Now Huang Tian blocked the Stone Emperor and started fighting with him in the deepest part of Immortal Mountain. The outside world cannot perceive any real battle scenes at all. In addition, there is a young great saint sitting outside the Immortal Mountain. Give Huang Tian support, even if there are other ancient supreme beings coming to kill us. There is also a great holy body to carry it. After all, this immortality elixir from Mr. Huang Tian is not something that can be taken for free. This wave of operations and planning is perfect. At the moment, all the situations were within Huang Tian's expectations. Although he is experiencing an eternal dream in this life. Just an ordinary mortal body. But I still relied on my own efforts to reach the current level step by step. The 9th level of Quasi-Emperor, reaching the pinnacle. If you really win, you may be able to achieve the ultimate leap and try to prove yourself and become emperor. Although the hope is very slim, he still has to try his best. Even if he failed in the end, Huang Tian didn't feel any pressure at all. At worst, I can start all over again and start the next life. Now in this shocking battle, The most crucial link lies in the old Stone Emperor. Boom boom boom. In the deepest part of the forbidden area of Immortal Mountain, Huang Tian was still fighting fiercely with Shi Huang. Relying on his nearly 40,000 years of heaven-defying practice and accumulation. Huang Tian, with his body of a quasi-emperor of the 9th level, fought on equal terms with the opponent. Although he was seriously injured, the old quasi-emperor's body had been torn dozens of times by the fierce spear in the Stone Emperor's hand. But Huang Tian didn't let Shi Huang get any advantage. 6 paths of Samsara Fist, Peerless Domination Fist, and even 9 secret divine arts. Anyway, he used all kinds of super attacking and killing moves crazily. Each move contains extremely terrifying power. Even the shabby old stone, the Stone Emperor, was covered in blood, and its body was full of cracks. I have to say, I swallowed a magical elixir of immortality. Huang Tian, who briefly recovered to his peak combat power, was truly brave and unparalleled. After reaching the realm of the 9th level of the Quasi-Emperor, his combat power was not weaker than that of the Great Saint body and the Great Tyrant body. Once you start playing with your life, the power of nearly 40,000 years of cultivation exploded in full force, and even the Stone Emperor could not withstand it. Of course there is a bigger reason. It also lies in the Stone Emperor himself. His condition is really bad. After experiencing the end of the ancient times, there were Huang Tian, Tian Xie, and the immortal Taoist. The 3 cruel and ruthless old fellows tormented and injured him continuously. His old imperial body had already been mostly wasted. The emperor's origin has reached an unprecedented level of weakness. The imperial fighting power has been greatly reduced. Even though he was roaring loudly and covered in blood. I want to reach the highest level, but I really don't have the energy to do so. At the same time, Huang Tian didn't give the other party any chance to show his talent. While you are sick, I will kill you. Roar, you 2 old guys, are you still unwilling to take action? If this emperor really dies, do you think this bastard will really let you go? He was once again blasted away by Huang Tian using the demon-subduing pestle that evolved from the holy fighting method. The Stone Emperor was really angry. At this moment, he finally felt the unprecedented threat of death. Haha, old stone, you can't escape this time. In the distance, Huang Tian was bathing in the imperial blood, although his condition was also very bad at this time. Even the fairy platform between the eyebrows was cracked by the Stone Emperor. But he was smiling, his bloody hair was dancing, and he looked like a chaos demon. That wild and ferocious aura frightened the other 2 dormant supreme beings deep in the Immortal Mountain. This younger generation creature definitely doesn't look like a creature at the 9th level of the Quasi-Emperor realm. Such a sharp and terrifying murderous aura. Various brutal and cruel fighting techniques are used. He is even better at it than these ancient supreme beings. The destructive power of this kind of fighting is so terrifying. This little white-haired old man must have an unimaginable background. It is very likely that he is also a fellow practitioner of the ancient supreme realm. In the distance, the Stone Emperor struggled to move his body again. This time he was at the end of his rope. He has reached the end of his life, he really can't do it anymore. But at this moment, his pair of scarlet eyes stared at Huang Tian and he yelled almost crazily. You, who are you? The Stone Emperor naturally realized this. Even if he was about to die, he still wanted to know. I am the Emperor who was once the most powerful and ruled the 9 heavens and 10 earths. At the hands of which immortal being did I fall today? Haha, old stone, you and I have already fought to this extent. You haven't figured out who I am yet. Your reaction is so slow. If I call you Stone Emperor old bastard again, will this name make your memory more profound? In the deepest part of the forbidden area of Immortal Mountain, Huang Tian smiled evilly and said faintly. Buzz. As soon as these words came out of my mouth. In the distance, the Stone Emperor's pupils suddenly shrank as if struck by lightning. He seemed to have seen something incredible and extremely terrifying. The entire body of the Emperor was stumbling backwards. Old bastard Stone Emperor. This word left a deep impression on him. Countless years ago, there was a mysterious and unknown quasi-emperor creature. He suddenly appeared and arrived in front of his immortal mountain with such a wild and arrogant tone. The first one to challenge was this Stone Emperor. The past is the most unbearable to look back on. The memory of that extremely dark period suddenly emerged like a tide. It's you damned guy. Chapter 48 The Light of Time, Crushing the Old Supreme. The Stone Emperor at this moment. including the other two old supreme beings who were barely alive in the Immortal Mountain. They were all extremely shocked. It has been a long time since the fighting Saint Emperor passed away in the ancient times. Such a long time has passed. Why hasn't that guy from the past died yet? The earth-shaking storm in the ancient times. It was so violent and terrifying. It even caused several supreme beings in the 6 life-forbidden zones to shed blood. It can be called a dark calamity for the ancient supreme beings. In this case, that mysterious and evil guy. It is absolutely impossible to stay dormant in their several life-forbidden areas. That's been going on for so long. How did this guy survive in such an incredible way? Looking at the universe of the human world of Shrouding the Sky. Except for a few major life-restricted areas. Is there any other supreme immortal land that can contain a supreme figure from ancient times? No. It seems there is another one. Ancient Forbidden Land. It turns out that the Forbidden Zone of life was evolved by you. Suddenly, Shi Huang seemed to have thought of something. His eyes were extremely sharp, staring at Huang Tian. If this is the guess, then everything makes sense. Haha, Old Stone is smart this time. Not bad, there is progress. Huang Tian grinned, revealing a row of white teeth. But there was no ambiguity in his actions. He swung his peerless fist, which was powerful and domineering. This is the only invincible boxing method that is the strongest and most powerful. Only then can it better exert its tremendous power of nearly 40,000 years. Puff puff. As a result, Shi Huang met with tragedy again. Even the imperial weapon Tianhuang in his hand was shaken away. The chest of the Holy Spirit Emperor's body was pierced, and the Emperor's blood splattered. Ah, I hate it. At this moment, the Stone Emperor was extremely frustrated and angry. When the ancient Forbidden Land was formed, the supreme beings in several major life-forbidden zones have also tried to test it. But he encountered a terrible counterattack. In that forbidden zone of life, several stunning imperial formations have revived. There are suspected to be more than one imperial masters lurking there. The supreme beings were fearful and unwilling to engage in a bloody fight. In the end, we can only acquiesce to the establishment of this life-restricted zone. The Stone Emperor of that period was one of the few extreme and aggressive people. Want to join forces with several other supreme beings and break into the restricted area together. Take advantage of the situation to kill the one or several mysterious creatures that are suspected to be from the imperial realm. Unfortunately, it failed in the end. If he, the Emperor, had been tougher at the beginning and persisted a little longer, perhaps there would be no ancient Forbidden Land today. Of course, this is what made the Stone Emperor most furious and regretful. He has always been filled with hatred and has been thinking about revenge and killing his former enemy all the time. It was actually lurking in that ancient Forbidden Land. Survive under the eyes of their supreme beings. Puff puff. Thinking of this, the furious Stone Emperor became even more furious. He was so angry that he spat out blood again. New hatred and old grudges, even if this emperor dies today. I will also take you, a wicked and despicable bastard, with me to be buried with you. The emperor seals the world. I learned about the origins of this white-haired old man in front of me. The Stone Emperor went completely crazy and shouted to the sky. In an instant, the boiling divine power solidified. Everything in this world seemed to be still, imprisoned in eternity. This is one of the supreme forbidden secret techniques belonging to the Stone Emperor. From petrification to sublimation, it can seal eternity, immobilize the Emperor's body, and launch an attack. Although at this moment the Stone Emperor is no longer at the peak Emperor level. The condition is extremely bad. But the power of this secret technique is still extremely terrifying. Huang Tian's body suddenly became unable to move. I felt like I was stuck in a quagmire and was in great trouble. Kill. Seeing this, the Stone Emperor roared. His royal body was still breaking apart and he was coughing up blood. Although this technique was powerful. But he is really trying his best. In order to suppress and kill the big black hand in Huang Tian's restricted area in the past. The Stone Emperor risked everything. But he still miscalculated. When the Stone Emperor rushed forward. Before he could launch his most fierce attack. But he suffered a heavy blow again. PFF'd. At this time, there was a bright light and a surging aura between Huang Tian's eyebrows. A little red gold figure emerged. He held a sword in one hand and made a fist with the other. The sword of the soul is extremely sharp and can destroy everything in the world. The fist is also powerful and can kill all living things. One of the 9 secrets of covering the sky, the secret of the first word. Specialize in the way of the primordial spirit. Over the past tens of thousands of years, Huang Tian has been practicing this secret technique. It has already been refined to the most powerful state. It's for this moment today. This old stone has some royal killer moves and hidden tricks. As early as 1,000,000 years ago, he had understood it thoroughly. It is said that only by knowing yourself and the enemy can you be victorious in every battle. Huang Tian had calculated Shi Huang's situation clearly. Boom! The sword of the soul pierced through the stone emperor's brow. Split his imperial throne. At the same time, that domineering fist shattered the origin of the stone emperor's soul. This was an unimaginable blow. Both the stone emperor's soul and body suffered devastating blows. This blow was really hurtful to him. Stone Emperor. Inside the forbidden zone of life, the ancient supreme being who is still dormant can no longer sit still. They didn't expect it either. This white-haired old man is so powerful. Just like the battle at the end of the ancient times. It seems to only stand in the quasi-emperor realm. But the power that erupted was so terrifying that it could destroy the world. Even the white-haired yellow sky in front of me. It is far less invincible and powerful than it was in the past. But the conditions of these old supreme beings are also extremely bad. HMPH, 2 old guys, get out of the way. Facing the attack from the other 2 ancient supreme beings in the restricted area, Huang Tian snorted coldly. As for these 2 old fellows, the emperor's origin is extremely weak. Compared to the old stone emperor, it is only slightly stronger. They are a pair of brothers in distress. How could Huang Tian take this dying old guy seriously? Boom. This time he stopped pretending and came clean. The secret of all characters in the body started to work again. His own combat power instantly increased tenfold. Damn, this cunning guy. He actually has such a hidden trick. I haven't used my full strength in the previous battle. Whizzing. In a flash, Huang Tian moved his hands. Beams of light flew out from his fingertips one after another. It turned into a blazing fairy light. Every ray of fairy light contains the terrifying and incredible power of the law of time. When they come together, they are truly like the light of time in the legend. The secret of the 9 secrets. Practice to the ultimate state of perfection. It is said that it can break time and achieve immortality. This is also one of the most powerful secret techniques that Huang Tian has studied and practiced for a long time. He is the only ultimate immortal in the world who has lived for nearly 40,000 years. Only then can one have such a long period of time to practice the key words. And cultivate it to such a high level. Now that Huang Tianji's secret character has been triggered, his combat power has skyrocketed. It itself stands in some incredible and powerful realm. Only then can you be so powerful and bring out the light of time. For the old supreme being in the immortal mountain whose life is about to end, this is an unstoppable killer move. What? 2 screams were heard in succession. The 2 ancient supreme beings who had just rushed out from the deepest part of the immortal mountain screamed instantly. The brilliant fairy light emitted by Huang Tian was so scary. It embodies the rich laws of time fragments and can be called the legendary light of time. Chapter 49 The ultimate killer move of the Emperor, God. Even though the 2 ancient supreme beings had tried their best to retreat. But a ray of fairy light still hit it. The terrifying force of erosion by time immediately caused them to suffer heavy damage. With just one strike, they discovered with horror. His originally decayed and weak supreme origin. It was weakened again. One's own limited supreme lifespan. A full 100 years had also been cut off. This would happen during normal times, the heyday. The Supremes might not care. But now these old guys are running out of lifespan. I can hardly hold on any longer and am about to pass away. How could they withstand this round of attacks? If only I could get a few more beams of fairy light. They were afraid they would be turned into dust. Rumble. With one strike, he defeated the 2 old supreme beings. Huang Tian did not pursue the victory. His primary target was still the old stone. Because he has discovered it. This guy is actually accumulating imperial power in secret. Prepare for the final blow at the end of life. Light of time. The 9 secrets of the Heavenly Lord, the ultimate mystery of the Xing character technique. I finally know who you are. Damn old bastard, go to hell. God. When his own life came to an end, Shi Huang finally fought hard. He used the final killing move. The desert is solitary and straight, and the long river falls into the sun. A stone man rose from the ground, roaring at the mountains, rivers and stars, and the universe collapsed. This was the shocking phenomenon at the beginning of the Stone Emperor's birth. During that period, the sky shook for him and the earth moved for him. As soon as he was born, he dominated the universe and ruled the 9 heavens and 10 earths. He was blessed by heaven and his Shinto laws were unparalleled. All kinds of forbidden secret techniques and magical powers have been perfected, and the magic power is endless. And at this moment, the Stone Emperor performed the ultimate divine magic. The name is God. It recreates the stunning scene of the birth of the Buddha. Rumble. The Stone Emperor's attack was terrifying. The ultimate killing move, launched at the cost of one's own life. In an instant, the galaxy at the end of the sky was surging, and countless big stars gathered together to cover the sky. Various laws and orders are intertwined, connecting the past, present and future. A gigantic stone man rose from the depths of the forbidden undead mountain. He merged his body with that of the Stone Emperor, and holding the Emperor's weapon, Tianhuang, he was about to chop it down with force. The final blow caused the sky to collapse and the earth to split, and the entire universe to tremble. Even in this immortal mountain, there are many ancient supreme law barriers to suppress it. There is also the Emperor Deceiver formation secretly set up by Huang Tian to isolate them. It was also unable to stop the power of this terrifying attack. In the deepest part of Immortal Mountain, endless light becomes the only thing. The sky, the earth, the universe, and the sea of stars all dimmed. Only the Immortal Mountain has become the most eye-catching and dazzling place. Then there is no more. The Stone Emperor's final blow before his death still failed to hit the target. Because behind him, I don't know when, another unsportsmanlike Lao Lu showed up and stabbed him in the back. No, it should be a dark red imperial sword. A figure of a white-haired old man who looked exactly like Huang Tian emerged. Holding an imperial sword. The Emperor's sword is extremely terrifying, and contains endless killing intent. Directly pierced the Stone Emperor. Old Stone, I'll give you a chance. It's you who are useless. You can go with peace of mind. Huang Tian wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth and sneered. It's easy to see that old fellow Shi Huang is about to die. He would never be as stupid as Yi He in later generations. Go and fight the opponent head-on. The best way is to kill your opponent at the lowest cost. What sneak attacks, lack of martial ethics, are all just empty talk. The current Huang Tian is no longer the invincible supreme god of all races. He is just an ordinary, unremarkable quasi-emperor creature of the human race. At this moment, the Stone Emperor was extremely angry. The royal blood in the body was also burning fiercely. His eyes were bloodshot, and he still wanted to fight to the death. But at this moment, he was at the end of his rope. One's own imperial combat power and the source of life. It is passing by rapidly like the tide. That last-minute stab in the back. It was too deadly for him. Until now, he no longer had the strength to turn his head. Let's go and see which evil Lao Lu is behind this. In the ancient times, a notorious emperor fell. It's such a miserable and cowardly death. He really has too many things to be unwilling about. In the end, it could only turn into a roar before death. Xiao Yao. Tianzun. Rumble. Outside the Immortal Mountain, an endless aura of destruction surged. It is as if chaos is surging and a new world is about to open up. Above the sky, countless beams of light shot up into the sky. At this moment, several major life-forbidden areas, including the great holy body guarding the outside world. All creatures in the universe stared at the depths of the Immortal Mountain with nervous expressions. No one can perceive the specific scene of the battle in the deepest part. Only the terrifying destructive force continued to surge out. At this moment, all the supreme beings in the life-forbidden zone were also feeling a little uneasy. The longer the time drags on, the more disadvantageous it will be for them, the restricted area supreme. There are several other supreme beings in the Stone Emperor of the Immortal Mountain. Will something unexpected happen to them? In the Taichu ancient mine, an ancient supreme being spoke, with some uncertainty in his words. Although they had also thought about taking advantage of the situation to get rid of the Stone Emperor and make a big profit. But that's just a thought. As both are supreme beings in ancient times, who can be much weaker than who? If they really fight to the death, both sides will suffer losses. So from a subjective point of view, the other supreme masters of the life-forbidden zone still hope that the Immortal Mountain can kill the opponent as soon as possible. Only in this way can the supreme majesty of the life-forbidden zone be demonstrated. Of course, after getting rid of the mysterious old man in the depths of the Immortal Mountain. But there is also a young and prime holy body, waiting for them to join forces to deal with it. Humph, this stone emperor is really old. It's been so long. I can't even deal with a mere human quasi-emperor. It's really a disgrace to our supreme. In the immortal mausoleum, an ancient supreme being also spoke. Let's not worry about the undying mountain for now. Hurry up and discuss how to deal with that young great saint body. His holy blood and life essence are peerless elixirs to us. In the sea of Samsara, an ancient supreme being also spoke. A holy body that is so young and at its peak. It is more precious and rare than an elixir of immortality. To all the old supreme beings, it is a peerless treasure trove. Today, this holy body has been delivered to my door. There is no reason for the supreme beings in the forbidden areas of life to let go. The only problem right now is what a price they will pay. Only then can we hunt down this young great holy body. Outside the immortal mountain, the destructive energy is overwhelming and extremely terrifying. The young great holy body guards outside the immortal mountain. His red blood energy surged across the sky, extremely powerful. There is a domineering momentum that one man can block the passage of 10,000 men. It is precisely because of the presence of the great holy body. Only the supreme beings in the life-forbidden zone would be so fearful. No one rushed into the immortal mountain at the first moment. Otherwise, even if the old man Huang Tian was so powerful, in the end, he couldn't escape the fate of being torn apart alive. It's been so long. Why hasn't any movement been made by the old senior yet? Could something unexpected really have happened? But at this time, the great saint was also extremely anxious. Fight against the ancient supreme being. This is a very dangerous and fatal thing. Even he is now. The holy body has reached perfection, and possesses unparalleled combat power that can challenge the ancient emperors. Nor do they dare to easily go to war with the ancient supreme being in the restricted area. And Huang Tian, this mysterious old senior, although his fighting ability is very strong, it is almost as good as his. But the former is old after all. The blood and energy are dry and the wood is about to rot. He was dragging along such an old body of a quasi-emperor. He went alone into the deepest part of Immortal Mountain. Can he really defeat those terrifying ancient supreme beings in the restricted area by himself? This great saint body really has no idea. Chapter 50. He is one of the 9 celestial lords of the mythological era. Over time, Dacheng Shengti felt more and more uneasy. But at this moment he didn't dare to act rashly. On the ancient star Beidou, no less than 5 ancient supreme divine minds have already locked onto him. A delicate and tense confrontation also formed between the great holy body and them. Once the great holy body rushed into the immortal mountain. Those ancient supreme beings in the forbidden zone of life. I'm afraid that they will swarm in at the first moment. At this time, no matter whether it is the supreme beings in the forbidden zone of life. It was still the great holy body, and both sides seemed to be becoming more and more anxious. Boom. And at this time, in the deepest part of the immortal mountain, there was an incomparable huge aura rising into the sky. At the same time, countless ancient star powers at the end of the sky gathered together madly. That is the supreme law of the Stone Emperor, which manifests the heaven and earth, and the vision is shocking. All the supreme beings in the life-forbidden zone were shocked. This is the Stone Emperor's supreme forbidden magical power. It looks like this battle will soon come to an end. On the other side, the great saint body had a very ugly expression on his face. The most unsettling thing in my heart finally happened. The ancient supreme being in the immortal mountain erupted with such terrifying divine power. Even I find it hard to resist, so what about the old senior? Just as the great saint body gritted its teeth and wanted to rush into the immortal mountain regardless of everything. But the next second, the vast and endless destructive force appeared above the immortal mountain. But it was like the tide, retreating madly. Disappeared without a trace in an instant. This sudden change made all the supreme beings and great saints stunned. But soon, another shocking roar was heard. Ah, I hate it. Shao, Yao, Tianzun. This earth-shattering roar echoed over the ancient star of Beidou, rumbling and shaking the sky. Countless galaxies in the universe were shaking violently. But inside the immortal mountain, silence fell again. It was as if all the turmoil caused by the great battles between emperors were isolated and suppressed. This is the voice of the Stone Emperor. Oh no, another unknown mutation has occurred in the Undead Mountain. All the supreme beings in the life-forbidden zone reacted and exclaimed one by one. Of course, at this time, the ancient supreme beings also focused on the back. Xiaoyao Tianzun. That's one of the 9 heavenly lords of the mythological era. The Stone Emperor seems to be in a difficult situation. Why would he say the name of mythology heavenly venerable at that time? Could it be that the mysterious and unknown human quasi-emperor creature that even we cannot deduce is here? He is the one transformed from Xiaoyao Tianzun. In the Taichu ancient mind, an ancient supreme being said coldly. There was a strong hostility and murderous intent in his words. Apparently, he also has a huge feud with the legendary Xiaoyao Tianzun from the mythological era. After these words were spoken, the other ancient supreme beings, who were originally a little impatient, were also shocked. Xiaoyao Tianzun, a mythical existence that has long been buried in endless years. Could it be that the little white-haired old man is really the reincarnation of an ancient deity in the legend? Is there an existence as heaven-defying as the Hades? No matter whether that human quasi-emperor is related to the mythical Xiaoyao Tianzun. Today he acted so recklessly and started a war with our restricted area. I swear to destroy it. An ancient supreme being in the immortal mausoleum spoke. A mysterious quasi-emperor who is suspected to be the reincarnation of the ancient celestial being from the mythological era. The astonishing value contained in it is really too high. These ancient supreme beings could not help but be tempted. Add to that the young and delicious great holy body that was presented earlier. It seems that they are the ancient supreme beings today. We will eventually go out together. The ancient supreme beings communicated with each other through their spiritual thoughts. Only the life-forbidden zone of the Samsara Sea fell into a strange silence. An ancient supreme being was lurking in the depths of the Sea of Samsara. At this moment, his entire body was enveloped by an endless amount of chaotic energy, and his true appearance could not be seen clearly. But there was a gleam of light in the depths of his eyes. It can be seen that the ancient supreme being was not at peace. Xiaoyao Tianzun, the mysterious quasi-emperor in the outside world, is the mythical ancient celestial being. Then who is he? What kind of look does that little Shi Huang have? How could he have mistook that skinny old man for him? Damn it. Now things get a little complicated. Xiaoyao Tianzun, this is a very taboo name. In addition to the special identity of the 9 heavenly lords in the mythological era. The most troublesome thing is that Xiaoyao Tianzun had done a lot of evil things in the past. The ancient emperors in many life-forbidden zones today. They are all his descendants. Xiaoyao Tianzun took action more than once. Secretly attacked these younger generations of enlightened ones. He has long since forged a mortal feud with the ancient supreme beings in these life-forbidden zones. If we allow the fake free and easy lord in the outside world to continue to act recklessly, God knows how many more blames will be put on this genuine ancient celestial being. What if he were to reach the Sea of Samsara and his identity would be revealed? That would be the end of it. No, we can't let that human quasi-emperor continue to mess around. We must kill him as soon as possible. It would be logical to do so, and let the former Xiaoyao Tianzun fall. After some thought, the ancient heavenly lord in the Sea of Samsara decisively followed suit and took action. Rumble. The ancient supreme beings erupted one after another. One after another, terrifying black shadows appeared above the immortal mountain. Not only did they take action, but they also revealed their respective restricted areas. It's obvious that they want to block this place completely. Completely kill the great saint body in Huang Tian. A mere saintly body that has just reached its initial stage of perfection dares to challenge the majesty of the supreme being in the forbidden zone. Today we must kill them. In the Taichu ancient mind, an ancient supreme being took the lead in launching an attack. As soon as the words fell, a brilliant fairy light burst out. It was an extremely powerful ancient imperial weapon, containing boundless power to destroy the heavens and the earth. This time the ancient supreme being took action. But it is no longer just a few divine thoughts. Although his real body was still lurking in the forbidden zone of life, he was controlling the ancient imperial soldiers to attack. The world is so close, it will make almost no difference if I take action. Cut the holy body and devour its essence. In the Sea of Samsara, an ancient supreme being took action. The first thing he did was to display the supreme imperial magical power, and endless laws of the Great Way were revealed. Traps the sky and seals the earth, suppressing everything. 6 paths of reincarnation fist. Facing the attacks from one ancient supreme being after another. The great saint body's expression was also extremely solemn. At this moment, he has already exerted his combat power to the extreme. Wielding the 6 paths of reincarnation fist, he fought head-on with the supreme being of the life forbidden zone. Although the great holy body did not know how long he could hold on. But he will keep defending with all his might until the holy body falls completely. This is his promise to the senior Huang Tian. Boom boom boom. Outside the immortal mountain, one life forbidden zone after another appeared, which was terrifying. The sky was completely sealed. The great holy body also fell into the hunt of the supreme beings, and a terrifying battle broke out between them. At the deepest part of Immortal Mountain, there is another amazing sight. Subscribe to Chinese Novel Audiobook YouTube channel. Chapter 51 The 5 major life forbidden areas gathered together. The battle of the Immortal Mountain Emperor has reached its most brutal moment. Huang Tian's Taoist body was holding a magical imperial sword. He interrupted the Stone Emperor's ultimate move. That sword wiped out the Stone Emperor's weak remaining vitality. Put an end to it completely. A generation of innate Holy Spirit Emperor ended up dying in regret. Got rid of this shabby old stone. As for the remaining 2 old supreme beings, there is naturally no problem. Huang Tian pursued the victory. 1 original body, 3 Taoist bodies, and 4 spiritual treasures and imperial swords. Such a powerful and fierce attack. Soon, the 2 old and frail ancient supreme beings were also killed. They are simply too weak. It experienced a series of brutal wars at the end of the ancient times. The supreme heritage of this life forbidden zone. It had already been almost worn out by Huang Tian. He couldn't even reach the highest level of sublimation and return to the supreme position. From then on, it became one of the 7 forbidden areas for life in the human world universe. The Immortal Mountain was completely flattened by Huang Tian's force. This battle is finally over. In the deepest part of Immortal Mountain, Huang Tian was sitting cross-legged. He was covered in blood and had numerous wounds. His own life force was also extremely weak. Previously fought with the Stone Emperor and other supreme beings. For him, it was a matter of life and death. The losses are also huge. His old body of a quasi-emperor could no longer hold on. Fortunately, before I fell down, the ancient supreme beings such as the Stone Emperor have already been destroyed. Even if the Stone Emperor and other supreme beings could hold on a little longer. The one who fell must be him. The war is over. The magical art of transforming 1 qi into 3 pure ones also became completely ineffective. The 3 Taoist bodies and the 4 dark red imperial swords also merged into one. Huang Tian tried his best to stay awake. Used the supreme secret method to heal the injured body. At the same time, there were clusters of residual ancient supreme emperor blood essence. They were all drawn here by him and refined into his body. Huang Tian's old body of a quasi-emperor. It took a very long time, nearly 40,000 years. Even the immortality elixir is no longer effective. Only the blood of the supreme emperor could barely sustain his old body of a quasi-emperor. And inject a little new vitality back into it. Even in this life, my own life will soon come to an end. The Immortal Mountain has been flattened. Huang Tian was no longer willing to let it end so easily. He felt that his old bones had not yet reached their limit. Maybe I can still grit my teeth and fight again. Chi. The deepest part of the forbidden area of Immortal Mountain. The crimson light surged and gathered continuously. Huang Tian's body was gradually covered. It was as if an immortal phoenix was about to be reborn from the ashes. Outside the Immortal Mountain, the great saint body is still gritting its teeth and holding on. The supreme beings from the 5 life forbidden zones are all coming to kill us. They resorted to methods that defied the will of heaven. The imprint of each life forbidden zone will be manifested above the sky. It's like one ancient demonic mountain after another stretching across the sky. Completely cover the Immortal Mountain. This is a horrific scene rarely seen in history. The entire Immortal Mountain in the Northern Territory is completely isolated from the outside world. All the laws of the universe and the spiritual perception of all living beings have been cut off. Only the endless aura of destruction is gushing out from the 5 major life forbidden areas. The most difficult thing at this time is to achieve the great holy body. One person was beaten up by a group of ancient supreme beings. Even if it is in the prime of life, in the prime of spring and autumn. In less than a few moments. He was also defeated, the golden body of the holy being that was said to be the strongest and indestructible. It turned into an endless rain of blood and broken bones flying everywhere. The sky was filled with red clouds, sad and brilliant. Swish! But soon the holy body reorganized the body again. Continue to fight life and death with the supreme beings. He knew he was doomed. But in order to repay the previous karma, the great holy body still kept its promise. Fighting desperately to defend the outside of Immortal Mountain. No matter what the situation of the old senior Huang Tian is in the deep restricted area. He was also using his life to delay time as much as possible. Today, all of us have come together to join forces. It can kill all living things in the world. It's just a great holy body. You are overestimating your own abilities. Be destroyed. Watching the great holy body being constantly destroyed and reorganized by the supreme power. In the 5 forbidden zones of life, even the ancient supreme beings became anxious. The depths of Immortal Mountain have long been silent. Without a sound, no one knew what was happening inside. A strong sense of uneasiness arose in the hearts of all the masters. But at this critical moment, this hateful great saint body is still trying its best to stop it. All the supreme beings were also extremely furious. They mobilized even stronger forces and continued to attack the great holy body. Just a few breaths, the powerful and indestructible golden body of the great saint body shattered again. This time, he was really reaching his limit. Even a young saint like him still had surging blood and energy, and was extremely powerful. But it could not withstand the joint siege of the supreme beings. The vast ocean of life source was also being drastically reduced at a terrifying speed. Oh, I'm afraid this life is really coming to an end. But I can follow the old senior and fight in a life forbidden zone. It can be said that I have no regrets in this life. The great saint body struggled to reassemble for the last time, and its breath was extremely weak. But his tall and straight figure once again stood in front of the Immortal Mountain. He had made his final preparations to die. Court death. The supreme beings were furious, and each of them was filled with murderous intent. It is just this young great holy body. It has already delayed them for quite a while. There is no room for waste now. Boom boom boom. One after another terrifying supreme killing attacks came again. The vast sky was constantly collapsing, and chaotic energy was surging. Under such fierce and terrifying attack, not to mention the weak great holy body. Even if a great emperor of the human race came in person, it would not be easy. Just when the life of the great saint body was hanging by a thread and was about to fall. A loud and arrogant laugh sounded again. Ha ha, you bunch of old guys in the restricted area. This time, everyone is out. It's really rare. You made such a big scene just to see me. Now I am here. Before the loud laughter died down, a divine light flashed. The little old man Huang Tian appears again. In his hand he held a terrifying black halberd. The halberd chopped down with great force. The imperial aura suddenly erupted. He managed to create a gap in the attack of the supreme ones. The great saint body also broke free and landed next to Huang Tian. Old senior, are you okay? Seeing Huang Tian appear again, Dacheng Shengti was surprised. There was a battle deep in the Immortal Mountain before. So earth-shattering. Now the old senior Huang Tian has come out alive. Doesn't that mean that the ancient supreme beings inside? Haha, I'm still pretty strong. I managed to make it through by luck. Huang Tian smiled faintly. As he spoke, he threw the black halberd in his hand to the great holy body. You did a great job, young man. Here, you can take this ancient imperial weapon first. To a certain extent, it can increase your own holy body's combat power. This black halberd is naturally the Stone Emperor's imperial weapon. At present, the former and the other 2 ancient supreme beings have been killed. He changed the surname of everything in the Immortal Mountain to Huang. The great saint body took over the Stone Emperor halberd and was extremely shocked. It's one thing to have a guess in your mind. But when the conjecture really becomes reality, it's still so unbelievable. Did this old senior really kill the supreme being in the Immortal Mountain alone? Chapter 52 The Legend and Splendor of the Ancient Mythological Era. Some are happy, some are sad. The great holy body was excited. The supremes were silent. Above the sky, huge black shadows were looming. The 5 major life forbidden zones are all manifested here. The originally brutal and earth-shattering battle came to an abrupt end at this moment. The outside of Immortal Mountain fell into a brief and depressing silence. This mysterious old man is suspected to be one of the 9 heavenly lords in the mythological era. He actually walked out from the depths of the undead mountain alive. And the black halberd in his hand. That is the Stone Emperor's supreme imperial soldier. These signs are very telling. Did the other party really single-handedly take on the entire Undying Mountain restricted area? Thinking of this, the hearts of the supreme beings were also in turmoil. Although each of their true bodies are still lurking deep in their respective restricted areas. But through the thick fog of chaos, their eyes were all focused on Huang Tian. His eyes were filled with cold murderous intent, and even deep fear. Just a creature at the 9th level of the quasi-emperor realm. Even if he is the reincarnation of the god of mythology, it's impossible to have such a terrifying and invincible combat power. As powerful as the emperor of yesteryear, there is also the later supreme god of all races, the Immortal Emperor. When they were at the 9th level of the quasi-emperor realm. Although his combat power is also amazing and unparalleled. But he is not strong enough to kill the ancient supreme being. Every supreme being in ancient times was so brilliant and talented. They are all the strongest people of our time who have fought their way out of millions of mountains of corpses and seas of blood. How could it be so easy to kill? But the cruel reality is laid before everyone. Huang Tian, this skinny old man, really destroyed the Stone Emperor. Even in the deepest part of the life-forbidden zone, other ancient supreme beings were killed. What a terrifying and incredible achievement. The ancient celestial lord from the ancient mythological period. It really lives up to its reputation. Another powerful person like the emperor has risen. Xiaoyao Tianzun, I never thought that you could survive to this life. A cold voice was heard from the Taichu ancient mind. The ancient supreme being's words were very direct, expressing the doubts in his heart. The other supreme beings also had their eyes bright and stared at Huang Tian. About the true identity of this mysterious old man Huang Tian. The Supremes still had doubts. The Stone Emperor's previous roar alone doesn't mean anything. They still need further confirmation. Xiaoyao Tianzun, one of the 9 Tianzun in the mythological era. Old senior, you. Upon hearing this, the great saint body was also somewhat moved. I didn't expect that I tried so hard to hide it for such a long time. In the end, you found me. It's all that old stone's fault. Alas, I was a step too slow. There was a strange light flashing in the depths of Huang Tian's eyes, and he said faintly. He did not directly deny the identity of Xiaoyao Tianzun. As early as when the Stone Emperor called out the name of this ancient heavenly lord. At that time, Huang Tian had some other thoughts in his mind. At the same time, Huang Tian also felt it roughly at the first time. The identity of the ancient supreme being who spoke in the Taichu ancient mind. This is another old acquaintance. If you're going to put on a show, then do the full thing. Haha, I didn't expect that the ancient mythological era has passed so long ago. In this world, there are 9 legendary gods. Besides me, there are other ancient masters still alive in the world. Changsheng, long time no see. After a brief pause, Huang Tian continued. His words were nothing short of shocking. What? There are still gods from the mythical era alive in this world. One of the 9 mythological lords, the founder of the word secret, the immortal lord. As soon as these words were spoken, all the beings in the 5 life-forbidden areas were completely shocked. What the hell, what does this old man mean? The ancient supreme being who just spoke in the Taichu ancient mind. He is actually one of the 9 legendary celestial masters, the eternal heavenly master. Boom. Inside the Taichu ancient mind, there is a surging aura of supreme power. The ancient supreme being just now was also somewhat shocked and angry. He never expected it. Damn it, I just said a sentence or two. How come I was recognized at first sight? This shouldn't happen at all. Now, the true identity of Changsheng Tianzun was revealed by Huang Tian's words. His situation must not be as good as before. The other supreme beings were silent. Through the extreme reaction of the ancient supreme being in the Taichu ancient mind, I can roughly confirm 1 or 2 things. Wow, this is the true identity of Xiaoyao Tianzun in front of me. It has not yet been determined. As a result, a mythical ancient celestial being finally appeared on his own side. This really caught these ancient supreme beings off guard. On the other hand, a certain supreme being in the sea of Samsara was even more uneasy. Damn it, who is that white-haired old man outside? Why was he able to recognize the old guy Changsheng's background at a glance? Could he really be an old friend from the mythological era? At this time he was really surprised and nervous. The other party's identity was confusing, and I originally thought he was a young lamb who was easy to deal with. Unexpectedly, he turned into a mysterious and ferocious tiger in the blink of an eye. Now even he, the real owner, is a little unsure. Could it be that he is the reincarnation of Emperor Zun? Or is it the Immortal Emperor's phoenix Nirvana? Even, that immortal old man Mingzhen has defied the will of heaven and lived another life. At this moment, the ancient supreme being in the sea of Samsara had a mixed feeling in his mind and was constantly speculating. But he didn't dare to come out and speak. I'm afraid that I will be like the eternal heavenly Lord. The white-haired old man outside recognized him at once. Because he, the ancient supreme being, had a very famous name in the past. One of the 9 celestial masters in the mythological era, Xiaoyao Tianzun. He, Xiaoyao, is the genuine ancient heavenly lord. Swish. Just as Xiaoyao Tianzun of the Sea of Samsara was still speculating. Suddenly he felt his heart tighten. Looking up, he happened to see the little old man Huang Tian smiling towards the direction of the Samsara Sea. That meaningful and inexplicable smile made Xiaoyao Tianzun feel a little uneasy. Could it be that I was also spotted? Buzz. Outside the Immortal Mountain, there are 5 forbidden areas for life. The atmosphere became more and more depressing and suffocating. Originally, his identity was questionable. Now, there are 2. If things continue to develop like this, there won't be a 3rd or 4th one. When they thought of this, the Supremes felt a chill in their hearts. The ancient mythological era. That was an ancient era full of legends and mysteries. Filled with too many mysterious and horrific traces of ancient history. Every ancient celestial master who has attained enlightenment is extremely terrifying. Compared with these younger generations of ancient emperors and great kings, their foundation is probably even deeper. The ancient mythological era is so long and long. Of course, there are not just 9 people who have attained the truth. Why are only these 9 called the supreme ancient heavenly lords? This alone is enough to illustrate the problem. What's more, during that extremely ancient era, there were also the Dark Lord and the Emperor Lord, who were even more terrifying and heaven-defying beings. Chapter 53. The Great Emperor is about to be robbed, and all the supreme beings are in a panic. Today, the ancient mythical gods were blown out one after another. That would be really outrageous. At this time, outside the Immortal Mountain, 5 major life-forbidden areas stretched across the country. The atmosphere between them became more depressing and terrifying. Regarding the Tianzun identity of the old man Huang Tian in front of him, the ancient supreme beings became more and more fearful. After all, the deaths of the previous supreme beings such as the Stone Emperor of the Immortal Mountain are very telling. Rumble. The Taichu ancient mind shook violently again. It was like a prehistoric giant beast, devouring the sky, with a surging aura of terror. And with a shocking and fierce murderous intent. Xiaoyao Tianzun, you old immortal. When I was achieving enlightenment in the past, you attacked me from the dark. You want to take away my imperial position and fortune. Since you have appeared again today, we should settle this blood debt properly. An ancient supreme being went berserk, with boundless murderous intent gushing out. And there is more than one of them. Yes, and so do I. Xiaoyao Tianzun, you old fellow, give me your life. Soon, an ancient supreme being in the immortal mausoleum also spoke coldly. Rumble. In the ruins of the gods, there was also an extremely terrifying murderous intent from the emperor. Although he didn't say much. But this terrifying and sharp aura is enough to explain everything. Great holy body. Looking at one life-forbidden zone after another, the murderous intent of the supreme being became more and more terrifying. The corner of Dacheng Saint's mouth twitched slightly. I never thought that this old senior had done so many, earth-shaking, things in the past. How many younger emperors have been attacked secretly? My goodness, it would be better if the identity of this heavenly lord was not revealed. Once it was revealed, it attracted even more murderous intent from the supreme beings. Xiaoyao, even if you are the mythical ancient celestial master, you are not allowed to provoke the forbidden areas of life like this. You will die today. In the last reincarnation sea, there were also huge silver waves. The genuine Lao Xiaoyao who was lurking among them had no choice but to grit his teeth and said hatefully. Things have come to this. These supreme descendants in the forbidden zone of life. On the left is the immortal Xiaoyao Tianzun. On the right, there is an old fellow named Xiaoyao Tianzun, who keeps yelling and cursing. As a genuine heavenly lord, he naturally felt very uncomfortable. It's time to cut the Gordian knot. To avoid causing more trouble. No matter which, old friend, Huang Tian was from the ancient mythological era. As the genuine free and easy lord, he must kill the white-haired old man Huang Tian as soon as possible. Only in this way can we avoid future troubles. It's almost time. Just as the 5 major life-forbidden zones were approaching with murderous intent. Huang Tian, the white-haired old man, is still as calm as an old dog. There was some inexplicable light flashing in his eyes, and he sighed softly. His strange words. It also shocked many ancient supreme beings. What exactly does that old fellow Tianzun across from me mean by saying this? Rumble. But the ancient supreme beings soon understood. The end of the sky at Immortal Mountain. Suddenly, a terrifying lightning flash appeared, shaking the earth. The sound was terrifying, and the thunder from heaven that was extremely powerful rumbled down. The destructive aura was too strong. The entire ancient Big Dipper star and the vast universe and human world are trembling at this moment. Not good. This is the legendary ancient supreme thunder punishment. This old fellow Xiaoyao wants to force his way through and become the emperor again. This old immortal wants to emulate the Dark Lord and the emperor. He is really ambitious. Quickly stop him. Changsheng Tianzun in the Taichu ancient mine was the first to speak. There was a sense of urgency and anxiety in the words. Under his nose, we must not allow the emergence of a heaven-defying existence like the Dark Lord and the Emperor Lord of the past. Xiaoyao Tianzun. Sonorous. As soon as the words fell, inside the Taichu ancient mine, the immortal swords clanged and argued, and the killing intent was overwhelming. A legendary mythical treasure, the Sword of Immortality emerges. Since his true identity has been exposed by that bastard Xiaoyao Tianzun. Fortunately, Changsheng Tianzun stopped pretending and revealed his cards. The magical powers of the heavenly master level were revealed in an instant. Today I also vow to kill Xiaoyao Tianzun, an old friend from the mythological era. Kill him. The other ancient supreme beings also had murderous intent that shook the heaven and the earth. What is happening today is not only about the feuds and disputes between the ancient supreme beings. It is also the foundation for survival in several major life-forbidden zones. They absolutely don't allow it. Huang Tian, the little old man who is known as the Heavenly Lord, once again attained enlightenment and became emperor. No one wants to have another emperor who is as unrivaled as the emperor above their heads. Rumble. The beings in the 5 life-forbidden areas attacked frantically. The aura of destruction was overwhelming, almost turning this world into chaos and nothingness. But at this moment Huang Tian smiled brightly. I just hesitated for a long time, trying my best to fight for the opportunity of transformation. Now the opportunity has finally come. Although his condition was also very bad at this time. But at least these old bones can still make some use of their remaining energy. Boom. At this moment, Huang Tian, the old quasi-emperor, had a bright light emerging from his body. This is the light of his becoming an emperor in this life. The quasi-emperor is at the peak of the 9th level, and has reached the highest level of sublimation, aiming to step into the realm of the supreme emperor. In this life, he finally triggered the legendary heavenly thunder for the first time. Moreover, the first time it appeared, it was a great calamity that was rarely seen in the ages. The end of the Sea of Thunder is accompanied by an even more creepy and terrifying chaotic color. Bang! At the end of the sky, there is a mighty thunder, containing an endless aura of destruction. Just a chaotic thunder came down. He actually tore apart the 5 supreme beings in the life-forbidden zones with great force. The joint sealing imperial formation was headed straight for Huang Tian, the emperor who was transcending the tribulation. What? This is the legendary chaos thunder. This old guy is just starting to break through. How could his great emperor's tribulation be such a heaven-defying thunder punishment? At this moment, the supreme beings in the restricted area seemed to be more panicked than Huang Tian. There has never been a shortage of supreme disasters in ancient times. They are old fellows who have lived a long time. Each of them has survived that kind of shocking imperial catastrophe. But today's imperial tribulation of the old man Huang Tian is obviously different from others. There is more than one level of calamity for the emperor. The more ancient masters and emperors there are who are beyond the reach of heaven. The disasters that you will experience will naturally be more numerous, more terrifying and more against the will of heaven. For example, the former emperor, the underworld lord, the Immortal Emperor. The so-called chaos immortal thunder tribulation was something that those unrivaled beings had naturally experienced. However, it is only at the most critical moment in the late stage of the supreme tribulation that such a heaven-defying and terrifying disaster will befall. But there has never been anyone. It was only the first major imperial calamity, which was the extremely terrifying chaos immortal thunder in the legend. From the very beginning, the great emperor's tribulation was raised to its strongest level. What about the subsequent imperial calamity? Should I risk my life to bear it? The calamity of the great emperor of heaven does not matter what the supreme beings of the 5 life-forbidden areas guess. A chaotic immortal thunder struck down. The 5 major life-forbidden zones are also covered. There's nothing we can do, it's because of these supreme guys. At the beginning, they used all their means and tried their best to surround and kill Huang Tian. Not even a fly can fly out. This is completely tragic. At the end of the sky, the first ray of immortal thunder from the emperor struck and killed first. On the contrary, it was not Huang Tian, the one who was undergoing the tribulation. But they are the great ancient masters in the forbidden zone of life. Now the Supreme's mentality collapsed. Chapter 54, The Sea of Samsara is about to be struck by disaster. The end of the sky at Immortal Mountain. The great calamity of the Emperor is vast and spreading throughout the universe. It is extremely terrifying and surges towards the 10 directions. This is the only way to forge an emperor that will dominate the human world. As long as he can survive this imperial calamity, he will be able to suppress all paths and make all the peerless emperors in the human world and universe unable to attain enlightenment again in this lifetime. The terrifying and heaven-defying chaos immortal thunder struck down violently. Suddenly, the roars and growls of the ancient supreme beings were heard in the 5 major life-forbidden areas. What the hell is going on? These ancient supreme beings mobilized their vast armies and came to surround and kill Huang Tian with great momentum. In the end, we haven't even started yet. All the people in his camp were struck by lightning. The key is that this is the most terrifying and mysterious chaos immortal thunder in the legend. In this human universe, the heavenly thunder is specially prepared for the peerless geniuses and the evildoers who defy the heavens. The legendary chaos immortal thunder is undoubtedly something that only the top supreme beings are qualified to experience. Haha, you are all so generous that you specially came here to protect me from the disaster. I'm so grateful. Seeing this scene, Huang Tian laughed out loud, and his white hair danced wildly. The older the quasi-emperor becomes, the more brilliant his figure becomes. At this moment, he seemed to be the only one in the entire human universe. Buzz. As he spoke, Huang Tian moved. The figure was like a human-shaped lightning, extremely fast. There was a strong influence of the laws of time flying around him, even the void was distorted. Taking advantage of this gap, he finally took action. It was not by taking advantage of the power of the Emperor's tribulation that he broke through the blockade of the 5 forbidden areas. Instead, he took the initiative to rush towards one of the 5 restricted areas. Damn it, that's the Xing character technique. He has actually cultivated the divine art created by me to such a terrifying level. No wonder it was able to deceive the supreme beings by making the fake look real. The genuine Xiaoyao Tianzun who was lurking in the Sea of Samsara suddenly changed his expression. Because he captured Huang Tian's trace. The Xing strategy has been elevated to the utmost, stepping into the legendary realm of time. That evil and mysterious old bastard actually came back from his reincarnation sea. Die to me. At this time, Xiaoyao Tianzun was truly shocked and angry. He cursed in his heart, saying that this old guy Huang Tian had no moral principles. Without saying a word, he began to endure this terrifying and heaven-defying calamity of an emperor. And what's even more terrible is, this guy not only failed to concentrate on dealing with the chaos immortal thunder punishment. Instead, he went straight to the Sea of Samsara, the forbidden zone of his life, to cause trouble. When he moved like this, the legendary emperor unleashed fire. Wouldn't they all be coming towards me? The vast immortal thunderbolt struck down madly. This was an extremely rare chaotic immortal thunder calamity in ancient times. Among all the great calamities of the emperors, they are all extremely terrifying and mysterious. Ha ha ha. Even though Huang Tian's figure had the bonus of the Xing character formula, he was still struck by lightning in the end. The old quasi-emperor was also seriously injured, and his blood splattered everywhere. But in an instant, his body and soul healed rapidly. With the help of the supreme power of the time law of the Xing character formula. He felt like he was in a dream, and in an instant, he dragged his injured body into the Sea of Reincarnation. Buzz. At the same time, in the void between heaven and earth, the law of time surged. There are also many mysterious and ancient supreme magic arrays. It spread out from the depths of the Immortal Mountain, covering all 5 life-forbidden areas. Under the surging tide of the law of time, a bright and unparalleled light flashed by. Huang Tian pulled the 5 life-forbidden areas and they all disappeared. In an instant, the earth shaking, endless destructive imperial calamity disappeared without a trace. Only the forbidden area of Immortal Mountain lies there. The great holy body stood in front of the Immortal Mountain and was also stunned. He was also shocked by this series of dazzling and amazing operations. Is this what the old senior did on purpose? At this moment, it is within the divine consciousness perception of the great saint body. Huang Tian and the 5 forbidden areas of life have long since escaped into the depths of the universe and the sea of stars. The speed was extremely fast. Even a great saint like him couldn't catch up. Clang! At this time, the Tianhuang Emperor halberd in the hands of the great saint body was also shaking violently. A familiar divine thought came out from inside and flowed into his brow. In an instant, the tall and upright figure of the great saint body shook slightly. Immediately, his big hand tightly grasped the ancient imperial weapon. He looked up at the direction of the starry sky with a complicated expression, and murmured, "Don't worry, old senior. I will keep my promise to you and do my best to fulfill it." Immediately, the great saint body turned around abruptly, holding the ancient imperial weapon in his hand, and strode towards the depths of the Immortal Mountain. The great saint body is still so upright and righteous, and he is also very iron-headed. Unfortunately, this is the so-called kind-heartedness of the Virgin Mary. He is such an extremely powerful being. After all, I can't escape the calculations of some old guys. The human universe, deep in the sea of stars. This is a vast and silent land, which is infinitely close to the chaotic zone at the edge of the universe. However, today, this dilapidated place that has been silent for endless years. But it ushered in an unprecedented catastrophe. Endless chaotic immortal thunder struck down angrily, wreaking havoc across the world. One after another, mysterious and ancient life-forbidden areas were forcibly moved here. The old man Huang Tian is going through the tribulation of becoming an emperor. No, he also forced the supreme beings from the 5 life-forbidden areas of Beidou to overcome the tribulation together. As the saying goes, happiness is shared, sharing happiness is worse than enjoying it alone. In the center of the thunder vortex, shouts and roars shook the sky. All the ancient supreme beings were badly tricked this time. Facing the legendary supreme chaos thunder calamity. Even when they are at their peak, they dare not be careless. Not to mention the current stage of decline and weakness. One by one, the ancient supreme beings were desperately activating the emperor-deceiving formation in their respective life-forbidden zones, struggling to hold on. Only by doing so could they slightly resist the terrifying strikes of the chaos immortal thunder. But even so, the supreme beings are already extremely passive and at a disadvantage. Every ray of chaos immortal thunder contains endless destructive power. It can even severely injure the ancient supreme being and easily destroy an entire world. How could it be so easy to resist? What's even more terrifying is that this is only the first level of thunder tribulation. God knows what kind of incredible and heaven-defying imperial thunder punishment will emerge later. Ah, this damn Xiaoyao Tianzun. I swear to chop him into pieces and put his soul in purgatory forever. In several life-forbidden areas, the roars of ancient supreme beings shook the earth and were filled with endless murderous intent. This time, all of them, the ancient supreme beings, were tricked by Huang Tian. No, there is another life-forbidden zone that is even worse. Huang Tian, the evildoer who is undergoing the imperial tribulation, is hiding here. And even though he was in the midst of endless thunder punishment, he was still fighting fiercely. His opponent was none other than Xiaoyao Tianzun, one of the 9 celestial lords in mythology. At this moment, the Huang sky was bathed in endless chaotic lightning. The physical body had already been broken into pieces, and even the fire of the soul was gradually dimming. Even he didn't expect it. He disregarded everything and used the essence of the blood of the 3 supreme emperors of the Immortal Mountain to force his way through. It would actually bring about such a heaven-defying and terrifying calamity to the emperor. If this kind of disaster is allowed to continue to develop and escalate, I'm afraid that the tribulation that the Immortal Emperor went through during his time of enlightenment will soon be similar to what he experienced. This is indeed a major variable beyond his control. Huang Tian also understood that this might be the special nature of his old quasi-emperor body. In this human universe, nearly 40,000 years have passed. He can be said to be the longest-lived quasi-emperor throughout history. In terms of his cultivation and strong foundation, he is not inferior to some ancient emperors and great kings. Faced with this kind of heaven-defying and unsolvable calamity for the emperor, can I still hold on? Huang Tian was also unsure. But there is one thing he is very clear about. Today, a disaster is about to happen in this sea of reincarnation. And he is the source of chaos in this forbidden zone of life. Chapter 55. Follow the path of Xiaoyao Tianzun and leave him with no way to go. Rumble. Shocking and terrifying catastrophes continued to strike. Huang Tian used the immortal phoenix nirvana technique in the secret of J in his body to the extreme, trying his best to repair his injured body. At the same time, he was also fighting to the death with Xiaoyao Tianzun. With every breath, countless blood splattered on each other's bodies. Who the hell are you, old man? Why do you want to harm me like this? At this time, Xiaoyao Tianzun was really going crazy. He knew that the mysterious old man in front of him must know his true identity as Jiyu Tianzun. Just like at the beginning, Huang Tian revealed the identity of Chengsheng Tianzun in one sentence. But this damn guy didn't say anything. He kept pulling himself into a bloody battle. At the end of the sky, one terrifying chaotic immortal thunder after another struck down. Even if there were several other supreme beings in the sea of samsara, they were desperately activating the emperor deceiving formation to resist. It temporarily blocked most of the chaotic immortal thunder's destructive power. But Xiaoyao Tianzun was still hit hard. I'm vomiting blood every moment. Haha, the supreme being in the sea of samsara, I don't know what you are going to say. Today, I will pass the imperial tribulation. Please use your supreme life to forge my supreme divine way. Huang Tian laughed loudly, his body covered in blood. Although he was suffering the most severe damage from the chaos immortal thunder at this moment, he didn't care at all. Still fighting madly with Xiaoyao Tianzun, Huang Tian is in a very special state now. Strictly speaking, his quasi-emperor realm has not yet truly reached the state of great perfection. If there is enough time, he feels that he can continue to stretch and reach the extreme. But for him in this life, time no longer allows it. His old quasi-emperor body is too weak and his lifespan has come to an end. Even swallowing the elixir of immortality is useless. Therefore, he could only rely on the remaining power of the ancient emperor's blood essence to force himself to sublimate. If you want to possess the combat power of an emperor for a short period of time, you have to grit your teeth and fight hard. Now his combat power is still increasing, getting closer to the realm of the emperor bit by bit. It can be called an alternative level of enlightenment. As his opponent, Xiaoyao Tianzun is in a tragic situation. While being struck by the chaos immortal thunder, he was also entangled by the madman Huang Tian. The most important thing is that Xiaoyao Tianzun is at this critical juncture. I can't give it my all yet. Show your true Tianzun level foundation and strength. Otherwise, he would have survived even this shocking storm. What awaits this ancient heavenly lord is also the revenge and bloody fight of the other supreme beings in the forbidden zones of life. Therefore, this battle was really frustrating for him, Xiaoyao Tianzun. You bastard! Xiaoyao Tianzun was furious. He gritted his teeth, tried his best to mobilize the supreme power in his body, and displayed his terrifying magical powers. Today's incident is difficult to resolve peacefully. The only thing we can do is to kill this evil guy as soon as possible. Reincarnate in the three realms, engrave my name in every life, announce it to all gods, and all the 9 heavens and 10 earths obey my orders. Xiaoyao Tianzun was really furious. He recited ancient words and the terrible curse resounded throughout the universe. Silently, countless huge monuments appeared around Huang Tian. Each ancient monument towered into the universe and surrounded him. It was an astonishing sight. The ancient stone tablet, demonic and evil, runs through the starry sea of the universe. One after another, they look like tombstones of the immortals from the ancient era. The sun, moon, and stars were all shaking, and evil human faces appeared on all the giant monuments. There were also inexplicable creatures that broke free from the giant monument and pounced towards Huang Tian. The latter was not afraid of this at all. His blood-stained white hair danced wildly, and his eyes were bright and scary. Haha, I finally want to fight to the death. What a pity. This little trick is not enough in front of me. Huang Tian's body was surrounded by blazing imperial light, and he swung his peerless fist with overwhelming power, unstoppable. At this time, he entered the field of alternative enlightenment. In addition, the Supreme Beings joined forces to set up one formation after another to deceive the Emperor, to help him alleviate the Great Calamity. This made Huang Tian even more reckless. He opened fire at full power, and the remaining royal blood essence of the Stone Emperor and other Supreme Beings in his body was boiling. The so-called Supreme Secret Technique had no effect at all in front of him. Every punch he throws contains tremendous and endless power. One monument after another exploded in the universe. Even Xiaoyao Tianzun was coughing up blood and staggering backwards. There is no way, Huang Tian is too fierce now. His foundation as a quasi-emperor is too strong, and his Taoism and magical powers are too powerful. Now he has even stood in the realm of alternative enlightenment. Apart from the Supreme Master Shi Wuk, who else can fight him head-on? But look at the Xiaoyao Tianzun in front of him. He was filled with worries and didn't even dare to reveal his true heavenly master background. There is no need to say much about the outcome of this battle. And this is exactly what Huang Tian expected to see. If this old fellow Xiaoyao Tianzun does not reach the highest level, there is a 9 out of 10 chance that he will kill me today. But once it reaches its peak, it completely falls into one's own calculations. After all, he is now known as Xiaoyao Tianzun. Under the constant exaggeration of the old man Huang Tian, he has already become the public enemy of all supreme beings. Rumble. Deep in the universe, the shocking imperial catastrophe is still continuing. Huang Tian took root in the Sea of Samsara and fought against the genuine Xiaoyao Tianzun, almost suppressing the opponent. At the same time, he was also driving his own great calamity. Pulling the 5 major life-forbidden zones, he headed straight for the edge of the universe. Deep in every starry sky, an inexplicable and terrifying imperial magic array has revived. This was something Huang Tian had secretly memorized over the long years. The purpose is to prevent the kind of special changes that are happening today. Ah, you damn bastard. In the Sea of Wheels, Xiaoyao Tianzun is really going crazy. He was blasted away by Huang Tian again. There were large amounts of crystal-clear blood splattered all over the body of this ancient supreme being. Don't know when to start. A dark red imperial sword appeared in Huang Tian's hand, and it was filled with a murderous aura. Even the ancient supreme being felt a chill all over his body. Xiaoyao Tianzun recognized it at a glance. This was the Lingbao Emperor sword from the mythological era. If you continue to force me like this, I will give up everything today. I will definitely kill you too. Your path to becoming an emperor in this life will be completely in vain. He was chased and beaten all the way by this madman Huang Tian. Xiaoyao Tianzun was really getting anxious. At this time, there was a treasure bottle in his hand. Inside there is a broken tree branch and several drops of immortal liquid. Then he swallowed the last few drops of the elixir into his stomach. That was the supreme elixir of the former emperor, as well as the 9 transformation immortal liquid. It is also the last bit of property of Xiaoyao Tianzun. Now they have all been consumed. There is no way, the war has to end here. This old supreme body of his is really unable to fight. When the Lingbao Emperor sword came out, it left terrible blood marks on his body one after another. Even his supreme origin was severely damaged. If the fight continues like this heavenly lord will probably be dead today. Ha ha ha, Xiaoyao, you still dare to act like a celestial master in front of me at this time. Are you crazy? Come on if you dare. I'm waiting for you to kill me. Huang Tian laughed loudly, his whole body covered in blood. These include his own and Xiaoyao Tianzun's. After saying that, he once again raised the dark red imperial sword and rushed towards Xiaoyao Tianzun. This posture clearly shows that they are determined to fight to the death. You bastard! Xiaoyao Tianzun was furious. As a mythical ancient celestial being who lived for a long time, how could he not know the other party's conspiracy? The purpose is to force him to reach the utmost level. In this way, this hidden ancient celestial master could no longer hide his identity. No matter which choice you make right now, even Xiaoyao Tianzun was forced into a desperate situation. That damn bastard is so fucking insidious and scheming. Ah, the light of time. Xiaoyao Tianzun, you old immortal, I will fight you to the death. And just at this moment when Xiaoyao Tianzun was stunned, deep within the Sea of Samsara, supreme roars of pain rang out in succession from 2 other directions. His roar shook the world and was filled with endless murderous intent. Xiaoyao Tianzun. Subscribe to Chinese Novel Audiobook YouTube channel. Chapter 56. All Supreme Public Enemies, Xiaoyao fights bloody battles. I don't know when this guy Huang Tian actually transformed into two Taoist bodies. Silently, he went to attack other supreme beings in the Sea of Samsara. And this guy is really ruthless. Right from the start, the ultimate secret of the Xing character technique was used, and wisps of light of time were emitted. This caused the ancient supreme to suffer a great loss. You bastard! Faced with this sudden change, Xiaoyao Tianzun's eyes turned completely red. This evil guy was fighting a bloody battle with him. Don't forget to attract hatred to him. The light of time is the most powerful skill of Xiaoyao Tianzun. He is probably the only one who has reached the profound meaning of the realm of Xingziju since ancient times. But I didn't expect that this white-haired old man could be so amazing. Xiaoyao Tianzun was so cruel in his heart. Puff puff. Just when Xiaoyao was stunned, Huang Tian came again like a ghost. The fighting power in his body surged again, and the dark red imperial sword glowed with blood. In a flash, the emperor's sword once again performed a meritorious service. He stabbed Xiaoyao Tianzun's shoulder with a sword. Roar, damn it, go to hell. Under endless rage and repeated threats of life and death, Xiaoyao Tianzun couldn't hold it back after all and reached the highest level. At this moment, his aura changed, his brows were bright, and his whole body was glowing. The aura of the supreme level was spreading rapidly, and it became much more terrifying all of a sudden. A unique and extremely ancient divine mark instantly spread throughout the entire universe. This is the unique aura of the great Tao belonging to the ancient mythical Lord of Heaven. Rumble. As Xiaoyao Tianzun's true body appeared. Above the forbidden area of the Samsara Sea, the chaotic immortal thunder suddenly became much more violent. One after another, terrifying chaos thunder dragons kept striking down. This ancient life forbidden zone has also suffered an unprecedented crisis. Huang Tian's great calamity is so terrible. Even though there was a blockade by the Emperor of Heavenly Warfare formation, the aura of free and easy Heavenly Venerable was too strong. The true body of the Heavenly Venerable is revealed, and he returns to the perfect and supreme position. At this moment, his fighting power is immeasurable and extremely terrifying. Whizzing. Regarding the terrifying Emperor's immortal thunder above the sky of the Sea of Reincarnation. And the supreme beings in other life forbidden areas roared. Xiaoyao Tianzun ignored it completely. In his pair of scarlet eyes, there was only endless murderous intent. As one of the ancient celestial masters in mythology, the founder of the Xing character formula, Xiaoyao roamed the ancient mythological period and was invincible. In the realm of time, he is unrivaled in history, and few supreme beings can match him. But today, he was forced into such a desperate situation by such a fake. Even though he was the supreme god, he had lost some of his reason. With such fighting power, he is worthy of being the mythical ancient heavenly lord. Huang Tian's secret attack failed and he was hit hard again. His old quasi-emperor body had long been broken and blood was flowing everywhere. Although this Samsara Sea has long since declined, the supreme foundation has also been weakened a lot. But after all, it is still much stronger than the immortal mountain. Especially the old fellow Xiaoyao Tianzun, his skills are still as sharp as ever. At this moment, he has reached the highest level and returned to the position of Heavenly Venerable. Huang Tian, who was in this weak state, also felt a sense of pressure. Whizzing. In an instant, Xiaoyao Tianzun's terrifying attack came again. The aura of the Supreme Being was overwhelming and shook the entire forbidden zone of life. Moreover, his speed is extremely fast. But at this time Huang Tian smiled. Whizzing. He took a deep breath, and the old quasi-emperor's body reorganized and healed again. Immediately, fragments of the laws of time flew around him and turned into a human-shaped lightning that disappeared at a high speed. My goal has been achieved. Huang Tian did not continue to fight to the death with Xiaoyao Tianzun. He also used the Xing technique and escaped at an extremely fast speed. The only one left behind was the extremely furious Xiaoyao Tianzun. You bastard, if you dare, fight me head-on. The roars and shouts of Xiaoyao Tianzun resounded throughout the world, filled with endless murderous intent. The guy in front is so hateful. He has been forced to the extreme by all means. But wait until this ancient celestial master reveals his true identity. The other party ran away without saying anything. Is this something a human can do? Rumble. Above the life-restricted area of the Sea of Samsara, a brilliant stream of light shot up into the sky. Behind him, there was also this terrifying figure chasing after him. Xiaoyao Tianzun, you bastard, prepare to die. You old immortal Xiaoyao, come and die. The moment when Xiaoyao Tianzun just stepped out of the Sea of Reincarnation. There are terrifying life-forbidden zones one after another lying in front of us. At the same time, there was also an ancient supreme being who attacked in anger. Sonorous. A terrifying imperial sword, with brilliant immortal light and extremely sharp edge, slashed towards the immortal platform of Xiaoyao Tianzun. That is the eternal heavenly lord, one of the 9 mythical beings. When he felt the aura of Xiaoyao Tianzun at such a close distance, he was also furious. Xiaoyao, that damn bastard, it really is him. It was this old fellow who had revealed Tianzun's true colors with just one sentence. Now he has resorted to such despicable means to drag all the supreme beings into this terrifying great calamity of the emperor. The murderous intent of all deities towards Xiaoyao Tianzun has reached an unprecedented level. Boom. Above the sky, countless terrifying chaotic immortal thunders struck down. There is also the furious murderous power of the supreme beings all around. At this moment, Xiaoyao Tianzun was also extremely aggrieved. Hey, you old guys, are you all blind? That evil bastard, it's not me. Xiaoyao Tianzun's eyes turned red and he roared at the top of his lungs. But when his eyes caught sight of Huang Tian's figure above the Sea of Thunder again. But he just happened to see the opponent's figure being torn into pieces by the chaos immortal thunder, and his figure and breath completely disappeared. Xiaoyao Tianzun was also stunned. But he soon realized that the evil guy was definitely playing dead. He wanted to shout loudly and make the truth known to the world. Unfortunately, who would believe him at this time? The overwhelming supreme offensive swept towards him. Xiaoyao Tianzun changed color, and had no choice but to use the Xing technique to dodge at high speed. But at this time, he in the life-forbidden zone of the Sea of Samsara. They are all completely blocked by the 4 major life-forbidden zones. One after another, the emperor defeating formations were densely spread out, covering the entire remote area of the universe. Taichu Ancient Mine, Heaven Burial Island, Immortal Tomb, and Divine Ruins. In the 4 forbidden areas of life, many ancient supreme beings joined forces to resist the thunder punishment from the Emperor of Sky. On the other side, they were also filled with murderous intent and wanted to kill Xiaoyao Tianzun, who was hiding in the Sea of Samsara. Rumble. Above the Sea of Samsara, Xiaoyao Tianzun became the public enemy of all deities. Facing countless supreme beings besieging and killing him. Even though he has now reached the highest level of sublimation and temporarily regained his former status as a heavenly venerable. His fighting power is unprecedented in history, and he can look down upon all the supreme beings he has killed. But they still couldn't withstand the large numbers of the supreme beings. After several head-on confrontations, he defeated several ancient supreme beings. Xiaoyao Tianzun had to temporarily avoid the attack, fearing that he would be beaten up. His face was extremely ugly. He could clearly feel that the fighting power of this heavenly venerable body was gradually weakening. Damn you bastard, you schemed and framed me like this. Come out if you dare. Today, I will risk everything to fight you to the death. Xiaoyao Tianzun transformed into a stream of time and frantically dodged the encirclement and attack of the other deities. His furious shout filled with murderous intent resounded throughout the universe. Unfortunately, the only response he got was the overwhelming attack from the Supreme. There are also one terrifying chaotic immortal thunder after another. Xiaoyao, you old immortal, when I was enlightened in the past. You secretly attacked me and tried to take away my fortune. Today, I will fight you to the death. At this time, in the Taichu Ancient Mine, there was an ancient supreme being shouting. At the same time, the runes of heaven and earth intertwined, and a terrifying supreme aura burst out. There is an ancient supreme being fighting for his life inside the ancient mine. Although he had never truly reached the highest level of sublimation, he must have used some supreme forbidden means to forcibly increase his combat power. It seems that he is determined to kill Xiaoyao Tianzun today. At this moment, Xiaoyao Tianzun was really furious. Chapter 57. The fruit of the quasi-emperor's Tao in this life, blooming brilliantly in the world. Rumble. At this time, Xiaoyao Tianzun was truly brave and unparalleled. He is worthy of being one of the 9 great celestial masters of the mythological era. With his own strength, he can conquer the 4 forbidden areas of life. With the help of the Xing character technique, he turned into an eternal immortal light, constantly moving forward. Right now, the 4 forbidden areas are blocking the sky and the earth, and one after another, the Emperor-defying formation is operating at its best. It can resist the attack of infinite chaotic immortal thunder. Inside, you can try your best to kill Xiaoyao Tianzun. Ah, I really hate it. Xiaoyao Tianzun fought with the Emperor in blood, his eyes were red. At this moment, he felt unimaginable frustration and resentment in his heart, with nowhere to vent. Just when Xiaoyao Tianzun was being beaten madly by the supreme beings. Silently, the real body of Huang Tian, the white-haired old man, escaped back into the Sea of Reincarnation. Xiaoyao Tianzun, you. When they saw Huang Tian's figure, the only 2 ancient supreme beings left in the Sea of Samsara were also shocked. Isn't Xiaoyao Tianzun fighting a bloody battle outside? Why is this evil and damnable old man here again? Puff puff. But what responded to them both were 2 astonishing flashes of time. Both ancient masters were defeated. I still don't understand what's going on. Until 2 terrifying lights of time appeared before his eyes. Only then did they react. Unfortunately, it's too late. The crystal clear light of time brushed past their supreme bodies. In an instant, the 2 ancient supreme beings roared in pain. One strike shaved off 100 years of his life. This light of time is so terrifying. He is definitely the biggest nemesis of those old supreme beings like them who are nearing the end of their lifespan. Sonorous. Between the lightning and flint, Huang Tian's fierce and terrifying attack came again. He held a dark red imperial sword in one hand. The other hand holds an imperial axe. This is the supreme imperial weapon of the ancient supreme being in the Immortal Mountain. It had already become his trophy. These 2 old guys have been lingering on for a long time. It's time for them to end it. Let me send you off for the last time today. At this time, Huang Tian was covered in blood, and his immortal platform was cracked. His condition was very bad and his soul was shattered. But Huang Tian's killing intent was extremely fierce. He felt that his old quasi-emperor body was about to reach its limit. We must make use of our remaining energy as soon as possible. Today, the Samsara Sea must be cleared. Huang Tian's quasi-emperor body was still surging with imperial light. This is the fruit of his Tao in this life, blooming brilliantly in the world. His murderous intent was boundless, and he used all his strength to activate the secret of all characters. 1 real body, 2 ancient imperial weapons, all with incredible combat power enhanced by the secret character. At this moment, he was truly a chaotic killing demon god. In their crazy shopping spree, regardless of the cost, the 2 ancient supreme beings in the Sea of Samsara couldn't bear it any longer. Countless years ago, the Samsara Sea was also Huang Tian's main target of bombardment. Like the Immortal Mountain, the Supreme's foundation was greatly weakened. Today, he suffered a series of heavy blows and was struck by the great emperor. The 2 ancient masters couldn't bear it anymore. Just a moment. The 3 terrifying imperial figures exploded dozens of times. The fight was extremely brutal. But Huang Tian insisted on dragging this decayed and broken quasi-emperor body. The 2 ancient supreme beings of the Sea of Samsara were outlasted to death. Chi. In the Sea of Samsara, endless silver waves hit the sky. The blood of the supreme emperor was splattered all over the sky. Huang Tian sat cross-legged in the void. He tried his best to absorb and refine those strands of the essence of the imperial blood. After being smelted in the Immortal Mountain, the effects of these royal blood essences are also not as good as before. But at least it can still maintain some supreme-level combat power. Cough cough. Huang Tian is already extremely weak at this stage. They are about to fall from the realm of alternative enlightenment. But he is still holding on. We have fought so hard. My old bones need to hold on a little longer. Huang Tian kept coughing up blood, and the immortal platform between his eyebrows was torn into pieces and difficult to heal. Although he can kill the old forbidden area supreme. However, the damage to his own Tao and the depletion of his origin were also extremely shocking. Every time an ancient supreme being is killed, a price is paid in blood. He is also risking his life. Rumble. Above the Sea of Samsara, the full support of the 2 ancient supreme beings was lost. It's just 2 emperor-deceiving formations superimposed on each other. There was no way to resist the coming of the emperor's thunder punishment from the vast ocean. One after another, terrifying chaotic immortal thunder struck down. Seeing this scene, Huang Tian's face changed suddenly. With his current bad condition, how can he deal with his own great calamity normally? At that moment, he moved his hands and used all his strength to display his supreme magical power. Brilliant beams of light burst out. This is the full display of Huang Tian's strongest Dao fruit power. Contained within it are the laws of time, the secret of the word, J, and the sacred law of fighting. He tried his best and pushed himself to the limit. In an instant, his entire quasi-emperor body disappeared. Not only that, the entire restricted area of the Samsara Sea is also disappearing. One person in a restricted area, under the burning of the crazy power of Dao fruit, they fled far away at a high speed. Rumble. In the outside world, Xiaoyao Tianzun is still fighting with the supreme beings in the four forbidden areas. The fight was so brutal. Although he was the founder of the Xing character formula, he has already reached the pinnacle in this field and even touched upon the supreme law of time. But under the joint blockade of the four major life forbidden areas, it will be difficult for Xiaoyao Tianzun to break free in a short period of time. Moreover, one after another, the ancient supreme beings were looking for him desperately. One after another, the supreme soldiers came rushing over to kill them. Faced with this kind of incredible attack, not to mention that he is at ease, under the same circumstances. Even if the emperor returns against the will of heaven, Lord Hades cannot withstand it even if he lives another life. At this time, Xiaoyao Tianzun had fought to his limit. The fighting power of the heavenly venerable, which had been sublimated to the utmost, had also been reduced to an alarming level. At this moment, he was extremely anxious and angry. Who the hell is that bastard? The despicable old man Emperor Zun, the immortal old man Ming Zun, or the prehistoric big black hand of the undead emperor? Xiaoyao Tianzun was furious, his heart filled with endless aggrieved and murderous intent. He was constantly deducing in his mind, guessing the true identity of this old man Huang Tian. I want to find clues as soon as possible and tell the truth. This will put an end to this meaningless supreme fight. In the eyes of Xiaoyao Tianzun, in this human universe, from ancient times to the present, the only ones who can achieve such an incredible level today are those three incredible beings. Even other ancient mythical beings cannot reach this level. As for the later generations of the ancient emperor and the great emperor of the human race, this is even more true. Rumble. Just as Xiaoyao Tianzun gritted his teeth, made up his mind, and was about to shout it out loud. In the vast chaos and thunder in the distance, another huge change occurred. The lair that originally belonged to Xiaoyao Tianzun, the Sea of Samsara, actually ran away on its own. Such a sudden change not only shocked Xiaoyao Tianzun. Even the supreme beings in the other four life forbidden zones were shocked. What's the matter? Ah, bastard, this is my Tianzun dojo, don't run away. At this moment, Xiaoyao Tianzun's eyes became even more bloodshot. At that moment he roared loudly and took the attack from 7 or 8 ancient imperial weapons. Immediately, the remaining essence and blood of the heavenly venerable in his body burned, and he stepped on the step of the Xing character. Under the blessing of the law of time and the astonishment of all the supreme beings, Xiaoyao Tianzun broke out of the encirclement of the masters in an instant and chased after them wildly. The Sea of Samsara is his old lair where he lives freely. It is also his only chance to settle down and survive. Today he reached the highest level of sublimation and briefly returned to the status of heavenly venerable. Although the battle is over, there is a more than 90% chance that he will die. But at least there is still a 10% chance of survival. And in the Sea of Samsara, there are also the Immortal Emperor and the Lord of the Underworld. Both are some long-term products left over from their transformation. To Xiaoyao Tianzun, this head is extremely important, comparable to his life and son, and must not be lost. In an instant, the Sea of Samsara and Xiaoyao Tianzun disappeared completely. Only the beings in the four major life forbidden zones reacted at this time. Damn Xiaoyao Tianzun, he actually let him escape. This old man's Xing character formula is too amazing. If he really disregards everything and tries to escape at the risk of his life, even if we unite, it will be difficult to stop him. Hee, so what if it's like this? At this time, Xiaoyao Tianzun has already run out of energy, and his Tianzun status, which has reached the highest level, is about to fall. I just don't believe that he can still survive against all odds. Today, my four life forbidden areas will fight to the death with the Sea of Samsara. As long as he survives, we will kill him. In the 4 forbidden zones of life, all the supreme beings were filled with murderous intent and kept growling. But at this time, no supreme being proposed to hunt down Xiaoyao Tianzun, a mythical ancient deity who is at the end of his rope and almost crazy. No one wants to provoke it again. What's more, this old fellow also masters the supreme secret of stepping into the realm of time. A few rays of time light came over, and no ancient supreme being could withstand it. Maybe it will be knocked back. The chaos Immortal Thunder Emperor's calamity has subsided. Let's return to the Immortal Mountain as soon as possible. A cold voice came from the Taichu ancient mine, and an ancient lord spoke. After such a brutal fight till now, none of the supreme beings have gained any benefit at all. They are unwilling to accept such a huge price today. Rumble. As soon as he finished speaking, one terrifying forbidden zone for life appeared after another. The chaotic light was so bright that it tore through the endless sea of stars in the universe and left. At this time, it is at the end of the universe, deep in the vast chaos. There were also 2 ancient supreme creatures fighting fiercely. The 2 are naturally Huang Tian and Xiaoyao Tianzun. In this human universe, in the field of speed, the only thing that can catch up with Jijing Xingzawei is Jijing Xingzawei. Xiaoyao Tianzun fought with Huang Tian with full of rage and murderous intent. At this moment, he was completely crazy and risked his life at all costs. He hated the old man Huang Tian to the extreme. The root cause of all the troubles today was caused by this guy. Even he himself, the mythical ancient celestial being, is most likely doomed. Such a huge hatred cannot be expressed in words. Only the blood of this evil old man can wash away the tremendous hatred in Xiaoyao's heart. You damned bastard. I don't care whether you are the Emperor, the Underworld Lord, or any other reincarnation of the Immortal Emperor. Today I will kill you, swallow your royal blood, eat your flesh and blood, and refine your spirit. Chapter 58. The 6th generation of the Heavenly Emperor, returning to the ancient forbidden land. Above the sky and sea of reincarnation, the chaotic immortal thunder rumbled and shook. Xiaoyao Tianzun was covered in blood, his body was badly broken, but he was still killing madly. In front of him, Huang Tian's figure stood proudly. Huang Tian was even more miserable at this time. The quasi-emperor body was finally reconstructed. It was already riddled with holes, and rays of light from time penetrated through it one after another. This caused his lifespan in this life to decline to the extreme. At the same time, one after another, vast and unparalleled immortal thunder lights struck down. Even worse, if it were an ordinary peak quasi-emperor. Even if it is the top-level bloodline physique such as the Great Saint body or the Great Tyrant body. I'm afraid I can't bear it. Only Huang Tian was still gritting his teeth and holding on. The last breath of the quasi-emperor's life essence is accumulated in his body and will not dissipate. Dragging this old bone, he is still fighting for life and death with Xiaoyao Tianzun. Ahem. Old man, you want to kill me. This is the last battle of today. I will send you off. Even though his condition was extremely tragic, the murderous intent in Huang Tian's eyes was still sharp and terrifying. In this life, he has fought and killed 5 Forbidden Area Supreme Masters. And this Xiaoyao Tianzun is his final target. It is also the most difficult and dangerous one among many hunting targets. Clang, clang, clang. When the terrifying attack of Xiaoyao Tianzun and the chaotic immortal thunder struck down at the same time, Huang Tian finally revealed his last trump card. Sonorous. Above the sky, a simple and hazy picture of a chaotic sword formation emerged silently. It spread rapidly and expanded, covering the entire restricted area of the Samsara Sea. At the same time, one dark red imperial sword after another emerged and arranged in groups. From the mythological era, the 4 swords of Lingbao Tianzun and the killing array are gathered together. In an instant, the sky collapsed and the earth broke apart, and shocking visions appeared one after another. Endless slaughter and blood-red murderous intent covered the entire restricted area of the Samsara Sea. This is Lingbao Tianzun's complete sword formation diagram, you bastard. At this moment, Xiaoyao Tianzun's face also changed drastically. He just wanted to pull away. But Huang Tian didn't give him any chance at all. Consume the remaining part of your lifespan. He tried his best to activate the number 1 killing formation in the human universe. One after another, the dark red imperial sword slashed madly towards Xiaoyao Tianzun. This kind of power is countless times stronger than the power he had before when he was holding the imperial sword alone. Back then in the great world of prehistoric times, Huang Tian relies on this supreme sword formation diagram. Killed the legendary dragon, unicorn, and phoenix. It has been soaked in the blood of immortal creatures. These 4 imperial swords also underwent a horrific transformation, and their power became even more unpredictable. Before this, Huang Tian was in a very dangerous situation. He didn't use it lightly. Until this moment, the last battle at the end of his life, he had given it all. There is no suspense in this battle. Finally, Xiaoyao Tianzun let out a scream. Xiaoyao, one of the 9 masters of the mythological era, has fallen. Rumble. At the same time, the sky ends. The moment the 4 dark red imperial swords and the chaos sword formation diagram disappeared. The boundless and terrifying chaotic immortal thunder struck down again. That is Huang Tian's great calamity, and it is still going on. This is an unparalleled disaster. One after another, shocking immortal thunders completely submerged this chaotic area. Then, from the depths of the Sea of Thunder, one ancient celestial being after another emerged. They stood above the Sea of Thunder and sat cross-legged in the Taoist temple. He attacked madly and hacked towards this place. In addition, many ancient emperors and various mysterious chaotic humanoid creatures appeared. No one knew how long this great calamity against the heavens lasted. No living being knows about it. What kind of horrible and incredible scenes happened during the entire catastrophe of the emperor? After all the fairy thunder and strange phenomena gradually dissipated, this place has long since become a land of chaos and nothingness. Chi. At this point, I didn't know how much time had passed. A slight sound suddenly rang out. Immediately, a little light emerged from the void and chaos. Finally, it converged into a vague and illusory figure. Is it finally over? What a pity. The blurry figure sighed softly. He immediately waved his hand. The original void was violently distorted, and an ancient and dilapidated life-forbidden zone emerged. It is the Sea of Samsara. Immediately, this life-forbidden zone was taken into his big hand. His figure also disappeared instantly. The ancient Big Dipper, the northern region of the eastern wasteland, the Immortal Mountain. To this day, this place is still one of the 6 forbidden areas for life. A few years ago, the 4 major life-forbidden areas joined forces to fight back to Beidou. He wanted to conquer the Immortal Mountain. But he was furious to find that this life-forbidden zone had already been reached by a young great saint. At the same time, one imperial magic array after another revived, covering the entire sky above the Immortal Mountain. The supreme beings wanted to join forces to attack. But suddenly, they all felt the deepest part of the Immortal Mountain. It seems that some kind of extremely terrifying and inexplicable power is reviving. That unparalleled and vast power made all the supreme beings tremble in their hearts and feel extremely fearful. In the end, all the supreme beings roared in anger and withdrew unwillingly. From then on, the shocking supreme battle that swept across the entire Beidou ancient star came to an end. Billions of lives in the Big Dipper, all living things in the starry universe. They all felt relieved and breathed a sigh of relief, feeling grateful for having survived the disaster. Silently, a blurry light appeared in the Immortal Mountain. The supreme imperial formations and the terrifying power of restrictions could not stop him in the slightest. The light and shadows passed over the Immortal Mountain like a dream. Look at everything and see it all. Looking deep into the restricted area, into the chaotic mist. The young saint who was in deep meditation nodded slightly. At this moment, under the pure land of Immortal Mountain, an inexplicable aura seemed to emerge from deep underground. The vast and invisible murderous intent is surging and dormant. The unparalleled terror is enough to shock and terrify all the supreme beings. But that unknown and mysterious thing seems particularly close to this light and shadow. The clanging sound seems to be calling. In the days ahead, you will secretly guard this life-restricted area. Don't worry, I will be back soon. And that young saint, if he obeys my orders, then nothing will happen. If he has the intention to disobey, if necessary, you can kill him. After saying that, the blurry light and shadow grabbed with its palm. From the depths of the pure land of Immortal Mountain, a tall and burly figure flew out. His entire body was surrounded by purple air, and a demonic and terrifying force was permeating. This is the dead great tyrant body. There was a flash of light, and the shadow disappeared again. Such a commotion was so horrible that even the great saint body could not feel anything. The ancient forbidden land, the 7th forbidden area for life in the northern region of the eastern wasteland. Since the day it appeared, it is filled with endless mystery and terror. Even the ancient supreme beings from other life-forbidden zones are extremely wary of this. They dare not attack easily. Today, a hazy light and shadow floated into it. It's been so many years. This place is still the same as before. Tianxi, those two immortal guys haven't woken up yet. The blurred light and shadow stood on the top of the ancient sacred mountain, muttering softly. He immediately sat down cross-legged. In the ancient forbidden land, an endless amount of life energy suddenly surged towards him. This is a rare sight that is unseen in the ages. Including that extremely terrifying ancient divine abyss. There is a vast and majestic chaotic essence gushing out. At this moment, this light and shadow seemed to be the only one in the world. One supreme imperial formation after another was shaken and revived on its own. Under the nourishment of such vast spiritual energy. The blurred light and shadow also became solid. You can vaguely see the figure of a handsome and extraordinary man within this light and shadow. This is of course Huang Tian himself. Dream forever and hone yourself. Even he had not expected that he could go so far in this life. Unfortunately, my lifespan has come to an end in this life. If I could live 10,000 more years, I will surely be able to prove my truth and become an emperor. There is no doubt that I can go even further on my path to heaven. Huang Tian's eyes flickered and he sighed. Of course, if other ancient supreme beings heard what he said, I guess they would be so depressed that they would vomit blood. In this mortal body, he endured 40,000 years. This guy is still not satisfied and wants to live another 10,000 years. Is this what people say? The lifespan of other ancient masters was only 10,000 years. Even with the blessing of the immortal elixir. At most, it is only 20,000 years. When he couldn't hold on any longer, he cut himself with a knife. Falling from the imperial position, entering the forbidden zone of life. This is all for the sake of longevity and the legendary chance to become an immortal, and it is done as a last resort. Nothing like this guy Huang Tian. His lifespan is frighteningly long, and he can be described as a monstrous evildoer in the human universe. But this life is for me. The harvest is also huge, which is enough. Having said this, Huang Tian looked outside the ancient forbidden land. His eyes seemed to penetrate the endless void. In this life, his mortal body has embarked on an alternative and special path to becoming an emperor. The accumulated foundation and heritage of Taoism. They almost succeeded in breaking into the realm of Emperor Wuk. Although he continued to fight with the ancient masters in the end. After exhausting all his resources and lifespan, he still failed. But it also greatly enhanced Huang Tian's Heavenly Emperor foundation. Now he has entered the level of the 6th generation of Heavenly Emperor. Getting closer to becoming the 9th life immortal in the mortal world. Of course there is another important point. Huang Tian in this life is just a bunch of old bones. With the 9th level of quasi-emperor realm, he fought in the Beidou life forbidden zone. He killed 6 ancient supreme beings in one go. Swept away the immortal mountain and the sea of samsara. This is also an unprecedented great achievement. In general, this life is of great significance to Huang Tian. Time is running out now. There are still some things that need to be arranged. Huang Tian took a deep breath and his figure flashed. The next moment, he appeared at the end of the ancient abyss. There, chaotic mists rolled, and an ancient road to immortality appeared faintly. Looking at the two immortal sources that blocked the way to immortality, Huang Tian shook his head. Buc and Tian Xie, these two guys are really useless. So many long years passed. He hasn't even recovered his throne yet. Though neither of you have recovered yet. But at least we can make use of the remaining energy. Now I will find another place for you to practice. As soon as Huang Tian finished speaking, the immortal source block in front of him that wrapped Tian Xie began to shake violently. This guy hasn't really woken up yet. But he could also sense the arrival of Huang Tian. The real body. You can hear the other person's words better. Out of instinctive subconscious alertness, Tianxi will not be tricked by this bastard again. On the other hand, the immortal source block on the side stood quietly without any resistance. Swish. Huang Tian ignored this completely. With a thought, he wrapped up the two pieces of immortal source and disappeared. The Beidou human world universe is a chaotic area. A huge and vast reincarnation forbidden area reappears. Huang Tian arranged the two guys, Buc and Tian Xie, to stay in this restricted area. At present, he alone occupies the 3 major life forbidden areas, the ancient forbidden land, the immortal mountain, and the sea of samsara. The ancient Forbidden Land is guarded by a top-level slave named Dacheng Tyrant. There is also a great holy body residing in the Immortal Mountain. And arrangements must naturally be made in this sea of reincarnation. Tianxi and Buc are undoubtedly the most suitable candidates. Although it is a bit useless, it is still a waste utilization after all. Chapter 59, Bloodline of the Ancient Gods, Peerless Genius Emperor. Although these two guys are a bit useless, but the imperial foundation of the past is still there. It is not difficult to use those ancient supreme beings to intimidate the Beidou Life Forbidden Zone. What's more, it is within the restricted area of the Samsara Sea. There is also the imperial barrier and killing formation engraved by Huang Tian himself. It can be said to be foolproof. You two guys, look after the house for me. If you perform well, I will consider taking action myself then. Help you quickly return to the peak of the imperial path. Deep in the sea of Samsara, Huang Tian patted two pieces of immortal source blocks and said lightly, "Buzz." As a result, the immortal source block that wrapped Tianxi shook even more violently. He was filled with resentment towards this fellow, the deity. Bastard, the real body has returned. Just mess around on your own. But he didn't help him and the Undying to recover and advance. Now, they are both going to be exiled to guard the Samsara Sea. It's so abominable. Regarding Tianxi's almost overwhelming resentment and dissatisfaction, Huang Tian simply ignored it. Just because of the reckless and lawless behavior of these two bastards. He didn't choose to help. What's more, Huang Tian's eternal dream has not yet ended. He also needs to enter the world of mortals with his true body and continue to hone himself. How can we let two bastards ruin our good thing? At present, 2 of the 6 life forbidden areas in Beidou have been cleared. There are still 4 major life forbidden zones: Shanling, Shenshu, Tianzang Island, and Taichu Ancient Mine. These ancient supreme beings, in Huang Tian's eyes. But they are all excellent whetstones. At the same time, each one is more difficult to deal with than the last. Especially the Taichu Ancient Mine, in the era of the great emperors who had not experienced the ancient times. And Yi Hei's path to becoming an immortal in later generations begins. In this large life forbidden zone, the number of ancient supreme beings hiding is still the largest. It is full of endless challenges. Time is limited. At this time, Huang Tian's body began to emit a little light again. The figure became increasingly blurred. The next moment, his entire body turned into a rain of light and soared into the sky. Rumble. On this day, the ancient star Beidou shook again. The restricted area of the Sea of Reincarnation has arrived again. Northern Territory, Taichu Ancient Mine, Heaven Burial Island, Divine Ruins, Immortal Tomb. In the 4 major life forbidden zones, the dormant ancient supreme beings were awakened almost at the same time. The Sea of Samsara is back again. Is it that old fellow Xiaoyao Tianzun? Damn it. That old man still has the guts to return to Beidou. Today I will kill him with my own hands. Inside the Taichu Ancient Mine, an ancient supreme being spoke with murderous intent. This must be due to a huge feud with Xiaoyao Tianzun. In the previous battle in the restricted area, we all suffered heavy losses. This happy heavenly lord of the Sea of Samsara is a disaster, he must be eliminated. Ancient masters also spoke in other life forbidden areas, and their auras were terrifying. But it's time to make a crucial move. Among the 4 forbidden areas, not a single ancient supreme being stepped forward first. Just kidding, we are all super antiques who have lived for a long time. Who would be so impulsive and reckless? They rush up and start fighting if they have a disagreement. Is this something that an ancient supreme being could do? The previous shocking battle. These old guys have suffered too much loss. The Supreme's lifespan, which was originally limited, is now even less. Who would be so stubborn as to just rush out? Risking your life with the mythical ancient master Xiaoyao Tianzun. Even if there is a huge hatred, you have to endure it. Without absolute certainty, no one would dare to take action. Rumble. The restricted area of the Sea of Reincarnation is majestic and has returned to Beidou with great fanfare. But it soon calmed down again. In the 4 forbidden areas of life in the Northern Territory, all the deities fell into silence. In the end, an ancient supreme being couldn't hold back any longer. Make a move across the endless void and test the Sea of Samsara. Unfortunately, all their supreme offensives were like mud flowing into the sea, disappearing without a trace. The restricted area of the Samsara Sea still stands there. Billions of silver waves surged, majestic yet unfathomable. No one knows, lurking deep in the sea of samsara. What is the true status of that mythical ancient deity? Has he really fallen, or is he lying dormant to recover from his wounds? In the end, there was still an ancient supreme being who refused to believe in evil. Even the ancient imperial soldiers were used to attack. But the result remains the same, without any ripples. In the end, even his ancient imperial weapons were almost imprisoned and forever trapped in the sea of samsara. After seeing this scene, everyone gasped. For some reason, they all felt that this life-forbidden zone, the sea of reincarnation, was more terrifying than before. As time passed, the ancient star Beidou fell sadly as the old senior, Huang Tian, failed to survive the imperial tribulation. Another round of great upheavals has begun. Countless talented creatures rose up and fought and competed with each other. At this time, another young figure walked out from the ancient forbidden land. He also joined the competition among the geniuses of this world. His appearance was like a bright star rising into the sky. As soon as he debuted, he shocked the 5 regions of Beidou. Because the cultivation talent and bloodline displayed by this young creature are so astonishing. The moment his divine power began to operate, his entire body became bright and fiery. It is like the brightest sun in the world. Such bloodline and physique are unprecedented, but extremely powerful. It's like a god from heaven descending to earth. In just a few decades, he swept across the entire eastern wilderness alone. Soon he set foot on the western desert, the southern mountains, and the northern plains. In just over 2,000 years, he had already reached the bottleneck of becoming a saint. Facing a peerless creature that is like a god, all the ancient sects and forces in the Beidou ancient star gave him a very special title, Divine Body. In the early period of this ancient era, the legendary Divine Body finally appeared in the world. This title of Divine Body was created tens of thousands of years earlier than the original plot. Moreover, this Divine Body is extremely powerful, with fiery and domineering blood. It seems to be comparable to the legendary Holy Body. 100 years later, under the watchful eyes of the crowd, this Divine Body once again set foot on the ancient starry road. There, he also displayed his peerless talent and strength, fighting against the geniuses of the universe until he reached the ultimate imperial level. At this time, the name of the unparalleled Divine Body had already spread throughout the universe and the starry sky. Even the extremely ancient and mysterious gods in the legend were alarmed. The old antiques in the clan were sent out to personally see this Divine Body that suddenly appeared. At the same time, another extremely terrifying emperor star appeared above the Tianzhou Emperor Road. His origins are mysterious and cannot be discovered. Just like that Divine Body, it seemed to appear out of thin air. But it is very powerful and terrifying. Before the ultimate imperial pass, all the geniuses fell at his feet and were killed by him. The starry sky road he walked on was stained with blood, and no genius survived. But on that day, he took the initiative to find that unparalleled Divine Body. The two confronted each other in the ultimate imperial pass, in the endless chaos and mist. The bloodline of the legendary god clan is indeed extraordinary. It's no wonder that I broke through the divine source ahead of time and came here to find you. You are very good and qualified to fight with me. The mysterious Emperor Star Genius was surrounded by chaotic mist, his eyes were cold, and he spoke in a low voice. Not far from him, brilliant divine light was flowing, extremely blazing and hot. The place where he stood seemed as if the vast chaos would be burned down by his burning blood. Today, both of them have established themselves in the realm of great sages and are extremely powerful. You can break through again at any time and enter the quasi-emperor realm. This bright, radiant and brilliant figure is Huang Tian. In his previous life, he was an ordinary mortal. This world will actually become the legendary ancient divine bloodline. Even he himself had never expected this. Of course, this was not something Huang Tian did on purpose. Just occasionally. Or there may be changes that even he had not anticipated. As the years go by, Huang Tian also discovered the peculiarity and terror of his own divine body. The potential is endless. To some extent, it can even be compared with the holy body and the domineering body bloodline. The divine body transformed by Huang Tian himself. But it is far from comparable to the so-called God King body of Beidou in later generations. He is truly a divine being. Awakening and resurrection from within the ancient clan of gods. Just like the lineage of the god of the ancient starry sky road in the late period of Shrouding the Sky. Starting from the ancient star Beidou, he advanced triumphantly all the way, swept away everything, and overwhelmed all the emperors and geniuses. This feeling is really wonderful. It is just like the rise of the ancient Immortal Emperor. Until now, he finally met the opponent in front of him. Haha, what a loud tone. Emperor, you really think you are a great emperor, an ancient emperor? Even if it was an emperor at the same level as you in the past, I'm afraid he wouldn't be as arrogant as you. There was a gleam of divine light in the depths of Huang Tian's eyes, and he spoke in a deep voice. He started a new life. Abandoned all the doctrines and laws of the past. But the vision and pattern remain. As the end of the ancient mythology. He is a man who has wrestled with Emperor Zun, the super sixth brother, personally. How could Huang Tian not recognize the guy in front of him? Emperor. A very domineering and special name. He was a disciple of the emperor in the ancient mythological era. Huang Tian had naturally seen it long ago. With his extraordinary talent and background as the Immortal Emperor. The so-called emperor is not comparable at all. Even Huang Tian didn't take it to heart. I never thought of it today. This guy jumped out on his own and wanted to fight with me. Boom. As soon as Huang Tian uttered the word, Emperor. The chaotic zone trembled violently. The terrifying and mysterious man opposite was surrounded by a boiling aura. His eyes were extremely sharp, and his gaze tore through the void as he stared at Huang Tian. Who the hell are you? How can you know my real name? At this moment, the emperor's heart was shaken. Since the end of the ancient mythological era. After the emperor fell and the ancient heaven collapsed. He was sealed into the divine source and disappeared completely. Today is also the day he recovers after a long time. I felt the strongest bloodline aura of the gods in the ancient legend. Came here on purpose. Want to compete with this emperor road divine body. But I never thought that I had just appeared. His true identity was revealed by someone in one sentence. Young people are always impatient and can't keep their composure. It's just a name, it's nothing special. Isn't the emperor already dead? Your status as the so-called young master of heaven is naturally in name only. Compared to the emperor's strength and sharpness, Huang Tian seemed extremely calm. He spoke casually. It also made the emperor on the opposite side more and more angry. Shut up, you bastard. The next moment the emperor exploded. He burst out with a majestic aura, like an ocean tide, blasting towards Huang Tian. Originally, the emperor was such a supreme and outstanding person with a heart of Tao. How could I be easily disturbed or angry by just a few words? But Huang Tian's mouth is so damn poisonous. The emperor is dead. The ancient heaven has collapsed. The identity of the young master of the heavenly palace is in name only. Every word of Huang Tian. They were all like peerless heavenly swords, slashing deep into the emperor's heart. It opened the scars in his heart. Even as an emperor, I couldn't help myself. Chapter 60, The sixth emperor will bring disaster to future generations. In an instant, the entire chaotic area was surging violently. Being noticed by the emperor, the sixth one, and personally accepted him as his disciple. From this we can see that the emperor's extraordinary talent must be beyond measure. Moreover, the other party has practiced the supreme immortal scriptures passed down by the emperor. This kind of peerless genius can be found in any era. They will surely shine brilliantly and shock the world. I am worried that I have no rivals in the imperial road. Emperor, since you have appeared today, then let me have a look too. What is so extraordinary about the direct disciple of the former emperor? Huang Tian laughed loudly, and the light of his divine body became even brighter. If Chuan Ying, the first general of the ancient heaven, descended here, Huang Tian would still have some concerns. As for this so-called emperor, he didn't care about it at all. You know, countless years ago, this emperor is still very young and is only about to achieve enlightenment. How dare you carry the Kunlun immortal bell and go after the emperor? In this life, Huang Tian met his disciple. Don't say anything, let's fight first. Huang Tian also wanted to see it. To what level has the bloodline of this ancient divine body of mine reached? The road to becoming an emperor that is invincible all the way is just too boring. Rumble. This is a vast area of chaos. The two peerless emperors of the time fought fiercely with each other. As soon as they fought, an incomparable terrifying vision broke out between them. An endless tide of destruction spread out, as if the sky was collapsing and the earth was destroying. Far away, the major forces watching the battle in secret were all moved. At the same time, the name of the emperor also spread from this Many super antiques were also shocked. He is the emperor. It is said that in ancient times, this name once appeared and caused a great stir. He once stood deep in the imperial road, with his back to the heroic pass and facing all the heroes. Kill all the great saints who have come to take the trial, leaving no one alive. This is a super ruthless person. I didn't expect it to reappear. And the emperor's background is so incredible. The disciple of the legendary ancient heavenly emperor, oh my god, this is crazy. The battle between Huang Tian and the emperor. The commotion was getting louder and louder. That was also thousands of years ago. After the world-destroying war among the universe and the stars. In this ancient starry road, a battle of the highest level is taking place. And both of them have great backgrounds. There is no need to talk about Huang Tian. The bloodline of the gods in ancient legends is the most divine and holy, and unparalleled. As soon as I set foot on the ancient starry road, it caused endless turmoil. Countless geniuses in the universe were swept and crushed by it. On the road to becoming an emperor, there was not a single genius who could stop him even a step. One man was so powerful that he fought his way to the end of the imperial road. Even the members of the god clan who had disappeared for a long time were alarmed. Just for him, and the other was just as horrible. Just by a name, it caused countless ancient forces in the universe and the starry sky to change color. He once killed all the great saints along the entire imperial road. A super ruthless character who completely destroyed all the geniuses of an era. He also has the incredible status of being the emperor's personal disciple. These two peerless celestial emperors met here. A shocking war broke out. It is conceivable that for the entire universe and starry sky. What an explosive sensation it will be. It's a pity that Huang Tian and the emperor were fighting. The power levels of the two are too high. Even if it's just the aftermath of a war. It is enough to destroy the body and soul of most great saints. Who would dare to move forward so recklessly? It can be said that there is no one above the quasi-emperor level in the world today. These two are the ceiling of the battle strength in the human world and the universe emperor road competition. This is just an unparalleled super god battle that has attracted everyone's attention. It was not as the monks expected. The world was turned upside down by the killing, and the sun and moon lost their light. They just fought each other for hundreds of moves and then came to an abrupt end. Immediately there was a burst of laughter. Huang Tian left gracefully. Only the emperor's figure remained standing in the center of the battlefield. This guy, one day, I will defeat you with my own hands. The emperor was filled with murderous aura as he spoke word by word. After saying that, his sharp eyes swept towards a certain direction deep in the chaotic zone. Immediately, his figure suddenly disappeared without a trace. What a keen sense. It is truly a most powerful and holy divine bloodline. I didn't expect it would happen after so many years. Such a peerless genius can actually be born from this ancient race of gods. There is hope for the revival of the god clan. In the chaotic zone, endless destructive matter is rampant. At this moment, an old sigh suddenly sounded. Silently, an old figure emerged. This is a person who looks like an immortal with a transcendent temperament. His face was extremely rosy, just like a newborn baby. But when this transcendent existence appeared, the chaotic zone, the endless and violent aftermath of destruction, he was imprisoned and suppressed in an instant. This move alone is enough to prove it. This is definitely a terrifying old guy. During the previous shocking war, Huang Tian naturally sensed the aura of this old guy. I retreated early. Haha, fellow Taoist, I wonder if what I said is correct. After a moment, the eyes of the immortal-looking old man turned slightly, looking towards another direction of the chaotic zone. In an instant, chaotic mist surged there. Another skinny, seemingly extremely weak white-haired old man appeared. Fellow Taoist, you are joking. Your lineage of the ancient heaven court is not weak at all. The direct disciple of the former supreme god has appeared in the world. The time for future enlightenment is just around the corner. Perhaps in his hands, the ancient heaven can regain its former glory. The figure of a white-haired old man appeared and nodded to the old man. This is also an extraordinary existence. Judging from his expression and actions, he seemed to be familiar with the old man. They are also quite casual with each other. Just the two of them, a few words. The information revealed is so earth-shattering. Are you going to become an emperor? Oh, I hope he can get to that point. Hearing this, the old man also sighed slightly. A complicated expression also appeared on that rosy face like a baby. If the emperor hadn't been born today, And it caused such a big fuss. How could this old antique, who has always been extremely low-key, break the seal easily and show up here? You know, this is a long way from the earth-shaking battle among the supreme beings. It's only been less than 10,000 years. They are the remnants of the ancient heaven. He was a thorn in the eyes of some ancient supreme beings, who were eager to get rid of him. To some extent, such an ancient being as the old man is the protector of the emperor. Unfortunately, due to some unknown and complex factors, the emperor did not approve of him and the remaining people of the ancient heaven behind him. That's why we are in this situation today. Fellow Taoist, since the two protagonists have left, then I will take my leave first. The old man collected his thoughts and nodded slightly at the white-haired old man. Then a figure flashed and fled away. A little white-haired old man stood in the extremely dilapidated battlefield of the chaotic zone. He glanced around with his extremely cloudy eyes. A hint of relief appeared on his old and shriveled face. Well, it really is worthy of being the divine body inherited by my clan. I don't know why it got lost. But this boy's bloodline is extremely pure. Given time, it may be possible to reach the realm of our god clan's ancestor. Even in this world, we can go one step further and create an unprecedented ancient myth. The white-haired old man murmured softly. Buzz. Until this time, outside the chaotic zone, several bright beams of light streaked across the sky and descended upon this place. Leading the group was a gray-haired old man in a white robe. Behind him followed several powerful figures. When I saw the white-haired old man, the gray-haired old man and the powerful men behind him all knelt down respectfully and saluted. We are here to see the old patriarch. How come even you were alarmed in this life? Haha, you don't have to be surprised. I just feel like going out for a walk because I'm too quiet. I didn't expect to encounter such an extraordinary bloodline. The little old man, who was called the old patriarch of the god clan, smiled and seemed very casual. Old patriarch, are you here today also for this divine body of our clan? The gray-haired old man asked respectfully. Well, let's talk about this divine body from now on. You don't have to interfere anymore. This is not something you can control, go back. The old patriarch of the god clan shook his head slightly, then waved his hand and said. Hearing this, the gray-haired old man opened his mouth and wanted to speak. But in the end, I could only nod helplessly. Just as he was stunned, he was shocked to find out. The figure of the old patriarch of the family has long disappeared. Only a faint voice came to my ear. I am old man and my life is coming to an end. You don't have much time to live. I hope that before I pass away, I can still contribute to my god clan. Bring this divine bloodline back to our clan. In the sea of stars in the universe, there is a battle between the peerless divine body and the emperor. Although it has ended, it has already caused endless waves. No matter which one of them. Not only is he gifted with extraordinary talent, but he also has a very powerful background. The bloodline of God in ancient legends. The other is a lineage inherited from the supreme ancient heaven during the ancient mythological period. It's really shocking. The ancient starry road is a dead silent area. Ripples appeared in the void, and Huang Tian's figure emerged. Fortunately, we walked fast. I never thought that there would be such an old guy behind this emperor. He almost blocked it. There is another antique lurking in the dark. It's still too sharp. All kinds of monsters and demons in this world have jumped out. Huang Tian's eyes flickered as he murmured. In this life, he once again reached the peak of the imperial road. Unexpectedly, I first ran into the legendary emperor of ancient heaven. He was almost blocked by an old man who was a quasi-emperor and a descendant of the heavenly court. And that old guy from the god clan is not simple either. It's so unlucky. It's all the fault of Emperor Zun, the Super Sixth. Just pretend to be dead. It also involves a lot of ancient grudges and hatreds in later generations in order to deceive people of later generations. For example, Chuan Ying, the first general of the ancient heaven, and the old men who are descendants of the ancient heaven. He is undoubtedly the one who has been fooled the most. He spent his entire life until his death working for the emperor, the sixth old man. A life-threatening revenge. In this life, with the right time, right place, and right people, I should have a better chance of reaching the imperial realm. But we have to speed up the process. Thoughts kept running through Huang Tian's mind. Afterwards, he decided to take the only true path to the Emperor's Pass and reach the quasi-emperor realm as quickly as possible. But Huang Tian's plan is very good. Still can't keep up with the rapid changes. But when he was trying to pass the only true path silently. But he was still intercepted by a special figure. Thank you for watching. Continue exploring the fascinating world of Chinese novels with us. Hit that subscribe button on Chinese Novel Audiobook to stay updated with our latest stories. And never miss out on a great listen.